And okay, there we are. Hi there, sorry for the delay. I had to do a bit of troubleshooting. My VTube studio was a bit funky with me and did not want to cooperate. More specifically, my iPhone did not want to cooperate to connect to the app for some reason. It did not want to connect to the PC. And also it did not want to enable the face tracking on my phone, and which is an issue I've dealt with before, and for some reason the immediate fix for it is apparently a reboot of the phone. Somehow after that it just re-enables the facial tracking. I don't know why exactly. It just cancels itself out for some reason. But yeah, I had to troubleshoot that for a bit, just so everything was once again connected. Although I still technically have a bit of troubleshooting. I cannot use my Stream Deck right now, which I'm suspecting might be because the OBS has had a major update, and I'm guessing the API might have updated for that new version. And I did not update OBS, and I'm not doing it now to also update the all of that. I'm doing it another time, not today. So and thankfully, because it's not too involved in it or anything of the sorts, I can manually do all the swapping and all the muting and all that. I'm fine. I guess I can handle that. Also, once again, hi there, Willow. Congrats on being second. I don't know why my voice is cracking right now. Might be the cause of me not really talking the past few days, and just my voice not being used to, hey, you should probably, you know, talk or something. Okay, let me also quickly give you a shout out. Oh, doing some more Overwatch 2. Hope you had fun with that. I saw, I don't know, some mentions of like a new comic or something. I don't know, just not really keeping up with the game anymore, unfortunately. Not the biggest fan of the changes, although some of the stuff they are swapping over seems interesting enough. I'm not sure if I will take a look of it or not. Maybe, who knows. If some, I do appreciate that I don't know, special game mode that is like in third person, where you also have like hero abilities, which I wonder from where they've taken those hero abilities for the game mode and all that. And kind of makes sense considering, you know, when it comes to like the monetization system being a skin-based, a cosmetic-based game, where you want to brag about, you know, the cool cosmetics you have on you, you know, you should be the first one to kind of envision them, which is why to some extent I feel like Marvel Rivals probably did it even from the very get-go a lot better than Overwatch, because, you know, Overwatch has been a first-person shooter from the very get-go, and weapon skins, like, not weapon skins, but hero skins being something that you don't really see on your own. Just at best, your weapon could be either slightly altered or recolored, but not in any major way, aside from, I don't know, they've done right now the mythic things and all that. Like, all of the, most of the live service, you know, FPSs do with hyper premium, you know, items or whatever the hell. But, you know, back in the day, when I'm talking about, you know, when Overwatch was trying to get whatever they could when it comes to monetization, just it was just a few recolors and or just remodels of existing weapons, but overall they functioned the same, had the same animations, have everything exactly the same, nothing too special about it. Yeah, but anyways, they're just odd side rant about it. But yeah, I'm just in general interested that, you know, they kind of took the third person approach as a game mode. That might actually help them in the long run, who knows. But yeah, aside from that, not much. Just doing my usual things and, you know, keeping up. Now I'm kind of back into, at the very least, into doing the clips and all that, so, you know, having almost daily content at the very least when it comes to the TikTok and YouTube Shorts side of things. There is daily content planned so far, so every day there is at least a short be scheduled. On the socials, a bit more rarer, just because certain streams intervene with my usual upload time that I do it on the socials. So because of that, I usually don't upload on those days, and upload on days when I can, because I can schedule it on Twitter. Unfortunately, I cannot schedule it on Blue Sky, because Deck Blue has the feature, but only for those who are Patreon members, and unfortunately I cannot afford right now to offer subscription, even though I would willingly do. It's understandable why the creator has put it under a paid service. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, it's just I can't afford it right now. As you can probably see, still with the coffee golden and all that, I have other things that I need to deal with. But yeah, at least to some extent, the clips up is working to the point of apparently Twitch has awarded me the #1 clipper on my own channel, which I guess, I don't know, just put out the kind of the, you know, Obama meme with, you know, giving his own medal and all that. Like, I guess I am the top clipper because nobody else is doing it, so I guess I've taken it upon my own hands to do so. And I'm planning, I've not yet set it up, and at the moment I cannot even do it because I will need to update my OBS and all that, because I want to see if I can add a plugin to my app, to my Stream Deck app that I use, because I don't own an actual Stream Deck, like, you know, peripheral, because I don't have that kind of money. So I'm using a rudimentary app that is nice. It is customizable, but it's a bit counterintuitive. It's kind of weird to code because you kind of have to like program it to do the things you want, and it's a bit counterintuitive and not easy. It doesn't have a lot of like ease of use to it, and I've had moments where I kind of like struggled to set it up, especially because you cannot, because this is something I've dealt with many times. Not sure if you can save it in there, or if are any files where you can actually save all your setup, because I had to, every time I had to reboot my I had to do like a clean boot of my system, I had to reset up all of this from scratch, like basically reprogram all my inputs once again from zero, and that's not fun to do every fucking time. So yeah, I've not looked too heavy into it, but you know, it's okay, it does its job, and I'm thankful that it exists. And I know it has like a plugin also to integrate with the Twitch functions, because, you know, so but last time I tried it, it just didn't work, because I wanted to do it for like to set it up so I can have the actual button to run ads on the deck. So whenever I occasionally needed to run the ad manually myself, in case I had to do a early break or anything of the sorts, I could have done it, but I don't know why it just didn't work. For some reason, it just didn't connect with my Twitch stuff. I'll try it again, hopefully, because I would like to also like set it up so I can also auto clip things in case, because there are times where I know a moment that I would probably make a clip out of it later down the line. Thankfully now, because I caught up with all my VODs, it's most of the a good chunk of what happens on stream, it's still fresh in my memory, so I can jump back to it and, you know, redo it again. Not all of it, to be fair. Don't have like the perfect memory, and I've had moments where I just literally forgot, or I had no idea what exactly to pull from a VOD. But I'm doing my best to at least make a clip per stream. So from each stream at the release, there is a clip made, either an actual clip made through the Twitch functions, or I usually create a maximum 3-minute highlight using the Twitch you know, highlight edit thing, and then, you know, then edit it into a clip type format and do that sort of things. Which is why you probably also notice that on the channel right now there's like a lot of like over 1 minute to 3 minutes to almost 3 minutes highlights, and not longer, because I usually use that system to create clips from it in case they are longer than a minute. And they usually are at most 2:58, because for some reason on YouTube on upload they add like an extra second somehow, or at least it's counted with a second higher. And if you do like 3 seconds on the dot, or even some cases I've even had a scenario with like 59 seconds, 2 minutes 59 seconds, it then somehow like the YouTube system no longer recognizes it as a short, because it literally YouTube automatically selects where it's uploaded, if it's either uploaded as a video or if it's uploaded as a short, which is a different format and page, and, you know, place where it's usually located and discovered. It usually detects it based on the runtime, and even though technically another way to check it would have been nice to, you know, also through actual formatting, because technically, you know, most YouTube videos are not portrait mode formatted. But I know, I don't know, maybe it's just easier for them to do it this way. Or at least have the option, if it's within the runtime, to, I don't know, maybe like force it to shorts. But I guess I understand why they put it as kind of like a precaution, in case it may not cause any issues. But yeah, every time I have to do it, just to be safe, I do it like 2:58. Just so I'm safe that I actually cover it within minimum runtime and it's automatically set up as a short. Which something that I did realize, at the very least with the YouTube things, is that apparently hashtagging in the actual title makes my shorts easier to be discovered. And since I've started to do that, all the shorts that from the beginning have been uploaded with hashtags have started to have like higher views. It's significantly higher, it's even like in the 3 digits, which I am glad. Although apparently retroactively it does not really work, because I did try to re-edit my older clips and put them that way, but I don't know, they just didn't work. I might have to re-upload them just to just in hopes that maybe that way they could be discovered. I don't know, I'll see. I'll probably try that. Yeah, they are not really for some reason they've not really been out there. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll fix it at some point. Yeah, because to be fair, that's kind of like a thing, and I'm glad that at the very least it works and it's a bit more discoverable, because even with TikTok, it is better. To be fair, in TikTok, it's literally functions that you have to like hashtag it within the actual video title, and it does work out decently. I have like some okay-ish numbers, although I think on YouTube I have higher numbers, which is a bit weird, knowing that, you know, to be fair, I do not understand because I think both YouTube Shorts and TikTok have like odd algorithms. Both of them, they do not function as what you probably expect of the general YouTube algorithm, so I'm not even gonna try to figure it out to see how exactly this kind of thing works. But at the very least, it's getting a bit of attention, and I see that I'm getting quite a bit of reach out. Although I do find it funny that I think both on TikTok and on YouTube, I think the most viewed short is the one where I just appreciate. I was just looking at Orphe's animation in Zenless Zone Zero at some point in the game, where because it was a closest thing that I could have found. It was like me pulling at strings to find something to clip in that into that vault, because one of the reasons why I try to also clip every stream is it's worth the effort. At the very least, it's me trying to make myself discoverable and for people to find me and do that kind of thing. And it's not necessarily for like big numbers, big views, because I think on YouTube, some of the YouTube shorts, I already started getting like dislikes, which honestly, in a way, I kind of take it as a badge. I'm getting haters. That means that I'm moving up. If people start to, you know, actually actively dislike my content. So I think like, you know, it's not just people. I'm not surrounded by yes man, which is nice. But the most viewed one is it's the one where I just looked at Orphe's animation, and I was not even looking at like something sus or anything like, you know, what you'd expect probably from the ZZ content to adapt. Although I'm guessing there might have been some jiggle animations that could have been perceived as that, but I've made no sort of comment, no anything. I just really appreciated like some of the quality animations of some of her, like I think it was like the transition from walking to sprinting in combat, which was like really nice. I really like the kind of like the way she kind of like the knife from tail to hand. And that one, for some reason, is like my most viewed right now. I think it's over like 300 on 331 on TikTok, and I think it's over 500. Yeah, 549 on YouTube, and it's my most liked on YouTube. So I don't know. It was Saturday, but yeah, I was like pulling at strings to find something. I was like, I saw that moment. I was like, you know what? I guess this could work. But apparently, I'm guessing it got views because of the horny. Like, it's probably that's why. Which I'm gonna get that confirmation, because I have a similar in style or similar in idea short later down the line posted from Deadlock. So If that one is gonna get a similar amount of reach, then I know that it's because of the horny. So that's gonna confirm it to me. But that one's gonna be a bit until it actually gets released. I think that one is gonna be released. Let me see. Oh, almost the end of the month, on the 28th. Yeah, that's fair. Should have expected. But yeah, I've put all of that, so I'm doing my best to. In some situations, I've actually been able to collect quite a few. I think in some of the places where I've had the most clipped recently, I think it was my not last ttrpg stream. It was the one before that, the last Lancer stream, where. To be fair, that one was also because I had like I've also chatted with a few people, a few viewers, and I was able to like collect some good like conversation moments there. So that was kind of that was nice. I think some of the Final Fantasy stuff has also. I know I have one from like a few from like 9 Souls as well that have been received, but you know, in most scenarios, it's at most a clip. For the last Final Fantasy stream, I was not Final Fantasy, actually. No, from the Honkai stream, I was kind of debating if I should probably make more than one, but I decided like nah, and I just left it to one clip. The other moments didn't feel like strong enough to me, so I just kept this one. But that one you're gonna see it way late because you know I have quite a backlog that of VODs that need to be caught up with clips, and you know, then the more recent stream clips are gonna appear. Which, hey, I guess you can also consider that if you want to actually catch, you know, interesting moments actually happening as soon as possible, just either watch the VODs or just be here live, because the clips are gonna be a bit delayed. So they're released for a while at the very least, because then yeah, it's gonna cut. There's gonna be a point where it's gonna catch up, because you know I only stream 4 times a day, and as I said, 4 times a week, and as I said, in best case scenarios, I just take 1 clip per stream. It's rare that I have more than 1 for the time so far. It's quite rare, so it's gonna be a point where it's gonna catch up, and others are gonna be able to view it. But until then, it's in the way it is right now. But yeah, speaking of which, I'm like of the Honkai stream, I'm really good at. I came up with the idea of cutting the set of play that we watched at the end a few days ago, because it got content claimed apparently for some sort of for like a song that it was in one of the trailers, and it got like regionally restricted in some places. So I was like, I don't like that, so I cut it out of the stream and did it as I planned, to put it as an actual separate video. And even then, it was still claimed, but I was able to like. Apparently, some of the editing features now allow you to actually cut the song audio, but still keep some of the other audio. So, and from what I checked, it looked like it did it a pretty good job. So I just kept it that way. Worst case scenario, it probably would have been that section would probably been muted. But the entire state of play has been uploaded separately as its mini video, or like mini kind of, you know, like live reaction VOD. That has been published, but you know, I'm not necessarily expecting that one to do anything. It's just there for the or more than anything for archival reasons, I guess. Not really any other reason why it's there at the moment, because any sort of other videos or forms of the content is just lives or the clips at the moment. But at the very least, I'm glad that I'm starting to get a bit of reach out in other places outside of YouTube, outside of Twitch. Even though, you know, I still want to grow out the Twitch side slowly but surely. You know, need to deal with other things first. But once I think I'm a bit more in the clear to do some of the things that I've been planning, I think that's I think it's gonna turn out better. But yeah, so I think don't any other reason for us to delay. I was just having a bit of a general discussion. We got into things. Let me have the out, and there we go. So let's actually get into the meat of things and what exactly we were planning for today and to discuss about. There might be a possibility to for the stream to be a bit shorter as some of the last ones, but we'll have to see how exactly that's going to run. But before I get into anything else, once again to kind of clarify, when it comes to streams of this nature, more specifically streams that are within the category of tabletop RPGs, my plan with them is that what I'm covering and what I'm talking about on the stream is more than anything just a filler form of content, filler formatting, something for me to discuss, something for me to look at, chat about, and to kind of create a conversation on. But on these kind of streams, I want people to be open about any sort of like ttrpg experience that they want to discuss. If they want to, you know, talk about like the general experience, some cool things that have been happening, maybe they want to show off like cool ideas that they've been planning, or maybe they want to ask for advice or help, or want some sort of help or anything when it comes to, I don't know, both from the player side or the game master side. I want this to be a place where people can actively do that and chat within a stream, do those sorts of things, and you know, either, you know, help each other out within the chat, or I myself can also offer my own opinions and suggestions, because, you know, I've been myself within this space for a good while. I think since late end of 2018, something of the sort. Most of it, for a good chunk of it, as probably a lot of you expect, through Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. In the last few years, like 2 years, 3 years or so, I kind of like slowly started moving to other things, mostly because of the unfortunate shifts and changes within the company that I did not necessarily agree, and kind of soured some of my experience. I still love the game, I still love the system, I still love like the specifically 2014 edition and all that, but when it comes to me experiencing it and exploring it as a game master, I just want to look at other things myself, and I've started to look into and experience more things. So far as from the player side, for starting last year, I got into a World of Darkness actual play, initially through some Under the Reckoning 1st edition, or aka Imbueds, for those who are within that community or within those fandoms and understand what I'm saying. Then we got, then, you know, it shifted into like some Vampire the Masquerade. I am part of a Vampire the Masquerade actual play. Currently, it's a bit on a gonna be on a year-long hiatus, because our storyteller has other obligations at the moment and doesn't have the time, which is completely understandable. It's fine. Another one that I've also experienced is the Gestalt RPG system. To kind of quickly explain it, because it's a bit more niche. If I were to put on two ends of a spectrum, D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder, let's say the 2nd edition remastered, Gestalt RPG would be somewhere in the middle. It's a bit more complex than Dungeons and Dragons, and it has a few more similarities to and complexities to Pathfinder, but it's not to the level of Pathfinder. So other things are still a bit more simplified and streamlined. It doesn't have the level of granularity that Pathfinder has, but it doesn't have the full simplicity that D&D 5th edition has. So it's a healthy middle with its own kind of unique systems. And per its title and name, because it's called Gestalt, it's one of its major features. When you create a character, you choose two classes to equally level out in parallel to that define your character. Plus, it has a few more other aspects of like kind of like power fantasy, like the absolute system, which is kind of like this almost, you know, absolute type of result or damage type or something like that. So it plays a bit more into the power fantasy side. bit, but it's a fun system, and I've really enjoyed playing it and experiencing it myself. So yeah, that's been another one that we got into, but again, because of the hiatus, it has to be stopped because it was a campaign that we were kind of doing in parallel. The Pathfinder, we were also doing a Pathfinder game within the setting that we also did a Gestalt system. That one was also part of an actual play, but we then kind of concluded and then shifted within the same setting, but a different system with Pathfinder. And we did that as well, but again, we had to pause it due to our game master having other obligations at the time. For the time. Yeah, I have a few behind me. So yeah, I have a few more systems that I'm a bit more familiar. I have a bit of experience. Plus, aside from that, through the stream and through all the content I've done here, I've also looked at other things like like Lancer is one of them. I've looked at through Daggerheart right now. You know, looking at Bunkers and Badasses. Even though I cannot offer like full advice when it comes to actually, you know, actual play, but at the very least I can offer like a bit more generalized advice, and you can even, you know, and I can also say that with any other systems, even though I might have not yet looked into them or played them, I might still be able to offer some assistance or some help or some perspective, at the very least in a more generalized manner, if I and not necessarily the mechanical particularities that the system might have. So, but you know, I am also planning to look into even more than these. So my whole point with these streams is for me to kind of check out different systems, different forms of content, you know, different types of game. As I said, we looked at Lancer, we looked at the Gestalt as well, to kind of cover it as a parallel with the game we were running. Daggerheart during its playtesting days, I've also covered. I would like to cover it again now that it's been fully released, but I personally buy it, and I would like to buy a physical version because I like a bit of a physical format. Right now, it's not really. I'm not sure if they've been brought back into stock. Because when I checked a while back, they were out of stock in the European market, and I was really annoyed by that. So yeah, that was not. That's right now. I don't really have the funds for it, but you know, Daggerheart is another one. Also from Darrington Press. I would also like to check out like Candle Obscura. I would like to also look in other things similar to Candle Obscura, maybe Call of Cthulhu, Cyberpunk Red. There are other systems out there that I would like to look at and talk about. So yeah, even once we are gonna be done with this, I'm still gonna cover TTRPG. I'm still gonna talk about, but I want to talk about others than, you know, necessarily the big one that everybody knows, which is probably D&D. Pathfinder, I'm not sure if I'm gonna jump into Pathfinder either, because at the very least, as alternatives, it's also like one of the bigger, well-known ones, similar with anything within World of Darkness. One reason is because of that. The other reason is that most of the World of Darkness is the fucking deep end of things, and it's rough to actually go through and experience. So yeah, I don't necessarily want to. I don't think of myself as the best qualified to do that. Also, I'm not a big fan of the formatting of the books. More specifically, because of our storyteller, we got into World of Darkness through the 20th anniversary editions and all that. Nothing V5 or 5th edition of any sorts. And I personally enjoy it. I've had a talk with the storyteller to give us like a quick rundown, like what exactly is the difference. Even though she herself started through V5, like her vampire and what experience, she kind of admitted that through her own personal preference and experience, she still prefers, even though V5 was the one she started with, she still prefers the 20th anniversary shenanigans a lot more. And I can understand why. Because honestly, I also, from the explanations and everything that she's given, the rest of us, I can get it. To be fair, I can get it. And I think I would also prefer to talk about those editions. But again, it's WoD also has this pretty large community, so I feel like I'm not necessarily the best person to it. I now I have also kind of occasionally struggled myself with the system. At the least to kind of cover it is gonna be in the fucking effort, because even though I like 20th anniversary, it's a mess of a thing. In a lovingly way, I'm saying it's a mess of a thing. But now the formatting of the book is awful. It's not the best. I've had a good, like, all other systems, even though yeah, it takes me sometimes with certain systems to learn them and do all that, but at the very least, at a certain point, I kind of get the flow, get the idea, I know where to look. With what, every goddamn time, I never knew where to look to find things in that book. And it always, every time I was opening that PDF, I felt like I was opening it for the first time. Because there was like always these kind of like scattered ideas, like, wait, I remember there was like something mentioned about this here, but then I go there, it's just a very vague, not very descriptive mention, and we're like, okay, there must be some other place where this is mentioned in more detailed. Where exactly could it be? In some cases, even some of the things that you hope to be mentioned in details, they are not. To be fair, one of the faults that the 20th anniversary versions of the books have, it's that, you know, it's a compendium of all the major content of the system put together in one place, in one book, but with the intended and target group of those already familiar with the systems and familiar with all the generalized rules or the more general aspects. It's not necessarily heavily built for, it's not really purposely structured and designed for those who might pick it up for the first time. So that's a problem, in my opinion. And I think it's a fair criticism that a lot of people have put to 20th anniversary, but anyways, that's, again, a big community on that end. I think there are people out there who are talking about, who can talk about that system a lot better than I do. Honestly, one of the videos I would recommend that covers in a very good humor style, and I feel like in a style that kind of befits the craziness and campiness that any WoD thing related thing can be. And I'm pretty sure like anyone within the WoD community might know who I'm gonna be referring here about is Ogre Pockping Haig. I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's Nordic things. I might be wrong about it, but the people who are the creators of Hunter the Parenting, or maybe if you are into the Warhammer 40k, you know, the Emperor talks using text-to-speech. Those creators have also had a quick video where they kind of summarize the general aspects of the WoD systems, of the WoD splats, and multi-splats and multi systems that can be covered in a really good summarized fashion that I think it's worthwhile. It's also done really well. It's really well produced. It's definitely in their style. If you've seen especially some of their early work and animations with Hunter the Parenting, it's presented in a similar fashion, in a similar style to how they present their usually animated content. Maybe a bit more simplified, just because, you know, this is definitely more in a more you know, documentary kind of, you know, you know, talky kind of video format than necessarily just some pure entertainment, sort of like a storytelling animation fashion that is Hunter the Parenting, which, you know, it's. And also, I do recommend Hunter the Parenting. Like, if you want something that kind of slowly eases you into the WoD deep end, try Hunter the Parenting. It's amazing. I think it's a really good introduction in a story level. Another recommendation, of course, I think it's one that everybody does when it comes to like the gaming side of things. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, first one, whatever is gonna come up these days, the OG. That one is the go-to recommended option if you want to get into the WoD things, especially with vampires. That one's gonna offer you a good introduction. But anyways, general rants about ttrpg is an all thing with, hey, it's part of the stream and all that, so I'm not necessarily complaining. Plus, one of the notices and one of the things that I've observed when it comes to the Bunkers and Badasses system is that a lot of the information and a lot of the rulings are quite succinct, quickly described and quickly formatted, and you kind of easily go through them to the point where, you know, the overview, which to me with other systems, the entire overview for me has been one stream, has been just at most, and slightly stretched, was half of a stream last time. And I've also actually looked into how to play the game in a more general fashion. I've also looked through it, both the overview and how to play the game in one stream, which with other systems, those were two separate topics for two separate streams. And I was able to do them in one. So this is gonna be a similar, I'm suspecting to be a similar thing even with character creation, where we are probably gonna get through it pretty quick. So I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna rush with it. So I'm fine if we, you know, stretch it out by talking about other things. Although, you know, probably to cover it more, because one of the things that I don't, how I usually approach, how I've approached other system is, especially with character creation, when we get into the nitty-gritty, I don't overview every section of the character creation, in the sense of, okay, we look at, let's say for example, we look at classes, or some game that utilizes a class system. I'm not gonna look at every class available in the system. No, I'm gonna just look at how exactly classes and advancing classes, and how exactly you collect and improve and you advance with your class and all that in a generalized manner, and then we move on. Anything that is a lot more compendium style, like, you know, where here's the list of classes, the list of abilities, the list of spells, the list of items, that one I don't really cover. That one is something that I leave on for people to decide and get an idea for themselves when they pick up the game. I'm just covering the general rulings and the general how to play aspects of the game, and the smaller nitty-gritty, that's something that for you to look in your own time. You know, I'm also not trying to cover the entire book, and for you to also kind of give you a justification to, hey, maybe you should, if you really like this, maybe you should buy it, support the TTRPG community and TTRPG creators, and buy this thing, and look at all the other nitty-gritty in-depth things. That's also like another reason. And secondly, that one can also get really lengthy, extreme, and verbatim. And in some scenarios, I did it, but as a completely separate stream. And who knows, maybe with some of the systems, I'm gonna go back and do something of that sort. But when it comes to like the general coverage, I don't do it. It's something that I leave on for maybe as an open idea for any other possibility. If I have any, usually if I have some sort of idea where I want to do something with character creation, for example, or about like discussing all sorts of like the nitty-gritty aspects. And also this is a good way for me to kind of jump quickly from one system to another at the same time, so we don't, because that was my personal gripe with I think the Daggerheart streams, because I personally felt like I was kind of overstretching them, or like going too much through them. And I think maybe even like, you know, if we were looking at it through content creation things, maybe I was kind of stretching it out and kind of milking it, and I was kind of losing momentum with it. So I decided to, okay, any other future things, I'm gonna keep them a bit more succinct, or a bit more structured, and a bit more just the core things. But because with Bunkers and Badasses, things are a bit more succinct, for this stream specifically, if after we cover all the general things, we still have enough time, I might also be looking at the more inner detail aspects of it, because character creation we might jump through it pretty fast, and after that I'm just gonna not have enough things. And at the very least, I want to have like a minimum of like 3 to 4 hour runtime with my stream, so because of that I really do it this way, which is also the reason why right now the first hour of the stream is a bit more general bants and talks, and not necessarily let me just jump right into the thing and discuss about it, because I know we're gonna have the time. I know we're not gonna rush it, because yeah, I can even give you like an example. Also, the PDF formatting is this way of 2 pages, one for each side. Unfortunately, this is the way it is. I'm gonna have it really zoomed out and really kind of tilted off, but it's not gonna be really centered onto the screen, so I'm really sorry about that. But I couldn't alternate the formatting, or at the very least I couldn't figure it out, you know, how exactly I could alter the formatting of how the images are presented. because I don't have Adobe. Fuck Adobe. I'm not gonna go back to that to try to edit it. I already had to look all over the place to edit this PDF because it had my full ass legal name on every goddamn page of this PDF, because that's how the PDFs are marked. Probably to kind of be a proof, or kind of like a quote-unquote watermark to prove that, hey, this has been bought by somebody, and it also had like some sort of ID. And literally it was present on every page of the book. I was able to find like an online editor for PDFs that allowed me to remove that, but I had to do it manually with each page, which took a bit. But I was not able to find anything when it comes to like shifting the formatting. So unfortunately, this is gonna be how it's gonna be formatted. I'm really sorry, but yeah, to kind of get an idea of how quick I got through all of this. So the overview, it took me like, with what, it's one, two, three, literally it's 6 pages. That's the overview, where in some cases this entire overview covered me like an entire stream. And then playing the game, because this is where we jumped in. This is the part where we jumped at. It's from 56 to 64. That's even less than 9 pages. It's almost 9 pages. And so yeah, you can already get an idea. So yeah, if you look at character creating a Vault Hunter, it's page 12 to page 53. So yeah, that's still like 40-ish pages, but a lot of them are listed, you know, classes, which that's the entire thing, listed archetypes, appearance and name. Like maybe even if we were to like stop it, I think like here, maybe 18, or like page 18 might be the stop. So that's still like 6 pages, because these are like the general things, and from this point on is just the in-depth aspects of each of them. So most likely we're gonna cover this in like an hour or two, up to like here or something like that, in an hour or two. And then for the other hour or so, we're gonna jump into the rest. Maybe have like a quick look-see overview of the other stuff, and just to cover time, because yeah, that's really quick, and because I don't want to jump into running the game. The game master thing, it's something I want to keep it as a separate stream. So because of that, this is gonna be one of the few systems where I'm gonna make the exception and look into the deeper selection. Plus, I don't think it's gonna be that much of a big deal, because as I've talked with on previous streams, when it comes to like bunkers and badasses, the system itself, from my perspective and from what I've read of it so far, it's a lot more. It's quite simple. It's quite succinct. It's kind of the foundation. It feels like it's just the bare framework from where you can then, if you want, continue and maybe advance it. I've even seen some people in the community, and even I myself, I kind of have ideas how to kind of shift it and add a bit more advancement to it, because overall the entire system is just reinterpreting Borderlands 2, specifically Borderlands 2, the game, in a tabletop RPG formatting. Literally every aspect and how things work in that game are reinterpreted into a ttrpg formatting. That's it. Like, you have there are very few exceptions where you don't have aspects, like for example, like for some reason you don't have fight for your life, which is an aspect of the game, which you have things like, you know, you have the new use station, which is the revive function. So it's basically, the game is already kind of lower stakes when it comes to death, and all other aspects of that, or like the echo net, or even like item pickups, or like specifically weapon pickups, are within the game rules, are ruled as being auto pickup if you cover the same space as the item, and things like that. Like very gamey and very kind of like Borderlands is a video game, kind of structured and formatted with not too much like details about it, and that also is gonna cover everything when it comes to the classes. They are literally, because you probably already like read through it, even though they might be a bit differently named, but it's quite obvious. Assassin, that's gonna be Mordecai and Zero. Berserker, that's gonna be the Salvador and Brick. Commando, Axton and Roland. Oh, Gunzerker is actually separate, my bad. Hunter, oh no, actually, all of them are separate. But, oh yeah, the only exception that is not separate is Siren, which is the Lilith and Maya. You have Soldier. I think Soldier is Roland, Commando is Axton, Gunzerkeria is Salvador, Hunter is Mordecai, Assassin is Zero, Necromancer is Gage, Psycho, Krieg. And from what I know, they are literally designed to function in a TTRPG formatting, kind of like how you'd see them in the game. And those are the ones. You have the characters from Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. And it kind of leaves you enough room to then bring on... Archetypes are a bit more separate, are its own little thing. So there are like a few aspects of this game that are specific to the TTRPG. The Archetypes is one of them. The badass points or badass rank. No, I think it was what exactly it was called. Badass moves and the badass points are an aspect that are specific to this system. But aside from that, it's everything exactly as in the game. So yeah, it has like a few of its own features, and then after that, it's just a game, just reinterpreted. Which, hey, that means that it gives you also a bit of room of improvement to kind of make your own thing out of it, which is nice. Or, you know, secondly, adapted. You can maybe even take things from other games and put them here. Because, you know, you have just... Because this, as I said, this covers Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. And everything is wrapped around into the setting and presentation of the Tiny Tina Assault on Dragon Keep DLC, which is the basically fantasy Pandora, or like fantasy interpretation of Pandora, because you literally have the entire DLC as a campaign written here, which is really cool, and a few and two one-shots. But it's just kind of like the packaging, the way it's formatted. The framework and the structure is literally the game. If you want to, you can easily just run it within the actual setting of Borderlands. You don't really need to adjust a lot of things. Maybe what exactly you would interpret it as potions. It could be some sort of more generalized consumable. Like, most of it is just you renaming it, reflavoring it. But it's literally just Borderlands, the system and the campaign. You can easily put it, and because of that, you can also put anything else from the other games. Like, if you want to add a bit of pre-sequel to it, you can do that. You know, add a bit of and those little maybe you want to add you know, either as new classes or maybe as subclasses of these ones. You know, the Lawbringer. Is it called a what's the Athena called? The Gladiator? I think she's called the Gladiator. I forgot what Wilhelm is called. And I guess also Claptrap if you really paid yourself the Doppelganger, and also the Baroness. So, which in my opinion, if you were to add out of any other games, the pre-sequel is an easy way to adapt through here, because the pre-sequel is just a spin-off of Borderlands 2, and everything here is built up on Borderlands 2, so that's a nice and easy thing to add additionally. Another aspect, you know, the guns, or how they are called here, the guilds, which are the manufacturers. Again, reflavor, rename them to actually be under the naming that they would have in the canon Pandora instead of the fantasy Pandora, which is just naming and probably a bit of like flavor, lore, and what exactly is their deal within fantasy Pandora. Similarly with like the list of enemies, you can like reflavor them. So yeah, you can easily do that. And personally, I would do so. Maybe then, you know, if you want to, you can also take aspects of other games, put them into here that you might find fun. You know, you have the element of, you know, like things like the butt slam, or the general slam that has been added then into Borderlands 3. Borderlands 4 has a lot more mobility, like grapple hooks and all that. Maybe you can also add those as well. Anything that you find fun in each of the games, you can add them here, or, you know, just the entire fucking... If you want, you can probably add those the Vault Hunters as well, and just reinterpret them and figure them out in your own way, or anything else, of course. But yeah, again, as I said, it's very baseline. It's kind of the framework, the general foundation. From there, you can, if you want to build it up even more yourself, which I probably would encourage to some degree. Because yeah, especially because to me, even to this day, is the one that kind of baffles me. Why it's the only option they decided not to put in, which is you know, you have the what they call here the brew you call those, which is the new use stations, which are the revive stations. If you brought up that entire system, and that death is not as consequential as you probably would have it in other systems, then why didn't you not also interpret your own ruling of the fight for your life, which is an integral part of all of the games, because all the games have it, so why not do it as well? Which is like, you know, really weird that, you know, they've not done it. So yeah, but again, you can easily take some ideas, kind of interpret it, especially because again, everything is interpreted in how it functions in the game here. You can probably easily find ways to add those concepts in here as well. Well, yeah, that's not that big of a deal. I would kind of have like an idea how exactly I would probably rule it kind of myself. I might have some ideas that to actually create for this on my own, which I might do at some point, but you know, not immediately. I might I want to probably be done with whatever I'm doing with the Gestalt things, then jump into this one, and then I'll think about it. But that's like the general idea that I have at the moment. But yeah. Now, so let me get to the page where we talk about creating a Vault Hunter. I'm not gonna look at it right now because in a few minutes an ad is about to appear, so I'm probably gonna wait until you know, the ad break runs, and once we return from the ad, I'm actually gonna talk about this, cover it, do fun because you know, I also have to take a quick refill because I'm out of water and I've been talking for a bit, and these are my yappiest of the streams that I usually do, so I probably need to get that in check, plus all other things that I might need to be doing in the meantime with the stream. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break now, and when the ad is over and I return, we're actually gonna talk about how to make a Vault Hunter. So yeah, I'll see you in a few minutes. Oh my, hello there, Raiders. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you didn't pick a good moment, and I was out of the room for the entire break, so I could not even see that somebody has jumped in. Hi there, Raiders. Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hope you had a lot of fun on the stream. If you're no longer around here, Raiders, that's completely fine. I can understand it. Sorry about that. I was just out of it. Oh, Amnesia Rebirth. Hope you're having fun with that, just in time for the spooky season. As I'm also planning to jump into some spook games starting from next week. As I'm planning tomorrow to finish 9 Souls, however long that's gonna take me, which I don't think is gonna be too long. But I'm pretty sure I'm just at the final boss fight. I think I stopped right before the final boss fight, and I'm suspecting there's not gonna be too much happening after that. Yeah, and because of that, now there's an indie slot opened for every Saturday, where I'm planning to do some sort of indie horror thingy. But yeah, first and foremost, for anybody jumping in from the raid, hi there, I'm adreansulph. I also go by card, call me however you prefer, it does not bother me. I am a vampiric, you know, owner around here. I like to check out indie games, talk about ttrpgs, occasionally play them, do arts, and also maybe even create something around them, all sorts of fun things like that. But first and foremost, as usual, and I'm guessing some of you probably have already done that, considering that you've jumped here from the raid and I was not really around. If you need to step out, have something to eat, drink, need to take a rest, detach from the screens, have a walk, take a breath of fresh air, do anything of that sort, please go ahead. You know, taking care of yourself takes priority over everything else, so please do so. I simply appreciate you just jumping in here, having saying hi, and then doing your own thing if you cannot say, because you've already been here for a stream. So, you know, I've just been starting for like an hour or so, and I'm still gonna be here for hopefully I think at least 3-ish hours, depending on how long this is gonna take me, which I'm suspecting is not gonna take that long, but we'll see. So yeah, please do go ahead and do that, including yourself, Jerris, if you're still around. If not, I can understand and hope doing okay with whatever you have to do. But yeah, I don't think I've missed anything from within production ready thingy. I don't think so. I think I have everything covered or done correctly or whatever the hell of sorts. But yeah, if you want to just get a general idea of what is happening around here and what exactly am I doing right now, I'm just this is my usual weekly TTRPG related stream, where we talk anything that is within this topic. It doesn't necessarily have to be whatever top game or system that I'm just currently covering. It's mostly as filler content, so I have something to talk about in case nobody else has anything to chime in, or you know, wants to discuss or want to have covered. But if you want to talk about like general RPG fun times, fun things, and all that, your general experience, or you maybe want to talk about something you're planning, you want to ask or offer some advice, or even just ask general help, be it as a player, game master, or whatever else, I want this space to be an open place where people can openly do so and have a bit of chat and have a bit of fun time with that. So yeah, that is the idea, that is the plan, that is usually what's happening here. But in case nobody does anything of the sorts, for today we are planning to look at the Bunkers and Badasses system, which is a D20 kind of D&D-ish fantasy system based around the game Borderlands, and more specifically Borderlands 2. The entire system is designed based on that game as a kind of a baseline and framework. And for today, we're looking at the character creation section. Basically, we are making ourselves a Vault Hunter, which is the protagonist, player character, main person kind of dude that is all about doing badass things, doing awesome things, and being an unstoppable killing machine in the process. And most likely, vaguely morally dubious. That no Vault Hunter is a good guy, technically. But yeah, that is currently the plan. So why not just jump into it and talk about it if there's anything to mention. If not, anything of the sorts. I know you've mentioned some things. You have to capture yourself a cute vampire is nowhere. At least you're here. The stream elements well, yeah, the stream elements announcer is gonna be around here for a while until I set up things where I'm no longer gonna need it, and I'll have to put something else instead of the stream elements, because I do want to attach myself with that at some point, to just get the time to or actually look a bit more in depth to set up my stream. But anyways, for the time being, at least, you do have the two bots that I usually have around for this. But yeah, so when it comes to creating a Vault Hunter, each player, aside from the Bunker Master, which is the game master of this game, will create a character, or better known as a Vault Hunter, for the game. Each Vault Hunter will have unique stats, archetypes, classes, skill trees, backgrounds, and appearances. So, first and foremost, understanding stats. Choosing how to allocate the 4 main stat points shapes the character and playstyle of each unique Vault Hunter. Adding points to stats will have a direct and indirect effect on a range of gameplay elements, including encounters, checks, skills, skill trees, and skill tree efficacy. Okay. Yeah, of course there is. I do like to shut up, peeps. Yeah, sorry about not being around. That is, you just decided to. I think you just picked the moment where I also took the break, and not only just taking the break, but I was also outside of the room for most of the break. So you know, I even during the break I did not notice it, because I would have probably at the very least said hi in the chat or something like that, but I was not even in the room when it happened. So yeah, I just noticed it when I just jumped back in and continued doing the thing. Yeah, no worries. It's not your fault, believe me. I've been there. I've tried my best to also to kind of big moments, but you never know when you're choosing to be like, hey, let me say hi, and then either a break happens or an ad is running right before you're raiding, and those are usually the hardest one to kind of play around because you don't really get a bit too much of a warning, and everybody, you know, runs ads in their own ways, because not everyone like does it necessarily like maybe once an hour or something like that. Maybe some do it a bit more frequently just for the having the more quicker intermediate breaks than the more longer kind of 3-minute-ish. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, understanding stats, kind of like what you expect, similar to all other systems. You have a range of stats. The bigger the number, the better you'll do with anything that is related to that stat number or interconnected with it. So that's kind of the general logic. It functions, from my understanding, in a similar way as in D&D, where you have a stat score and a stat modifier, but here they have it simplified, where the stat modifier is basically half of the stat score. So for example, if you have a stat score of 10 in accuracy, then your stat modifier is a +5, something like that. So easy peasy. I have to get something to munch on, but I will be lurking, no worries. Have a good munch. Have a good little nibble, or longer nibble. I don't know. However you decide how much you decide to eat today. Yeah, for the stat array, we have accuracy, which refers to the ability to hit a specific target when aiming. The accuracy stat is applied in several different ways throughout play. The most obvious one is in combat. More accuracy equals more hits. That includes anything you might throw, like a grenade, barrels, or your shoes. Accuracy stat also influence both insight and interact checks. Then also damage. Damage is an easy stat to understand, as it only applies to combat and throw distance. How much you can rain down on your enemies and how far you can hurl that hurt. So yeah, easy peasy to understand. Then you have speed, represents both how fast you can move, which matters a great deal when dodging enemy attacks, and how far. By default, you can move 3 squares per turn. Any addition to the speed stat increases the movement range. Speed is also applied when rolling initiative and for traverse and talk checks. Because I guess you are a fast stalker, yapper kind of thing. Also, to be fair, damage, I would probably, you know, kind of in the rulings that you've probably also seen in D&D when it comes to intimidation or anything of the sorts. Like if you do some sort of like, I don't know, social interaction where you kind of want to be intimidating, I would probably take into account damage to be like, hey, you are the type to do like a lot of hurt, so here, have this to kind of prove your point instead of actually hurting them. So it would be something. And finally, mastery, which is the focus and proficiency you bring to certain skills. Each Vault Hunter has a specific action skill that can be used once per encounter by default. Increasing mastery allows for more frequent action skill opportunities. It also improves sneaks, search checks, and influences health gains. So mastery is a bit, I guess a more loaded all-rounder when it comes to certain aspects of the character, but overall, yeah, pretty. It covers most. I think traverse checks, sneaks, and search checks. Inside interact, I think it covers all the actions that you usually do in combat. Or the interact that you usually do outside of combat. Maybe? I don't fully remember because even though we just covered them last time, it's not like me just reading them once are gonna be fresh in my memory. Let me just quickly look. Just out of curiosity, see how many of the stats are actually involved. It's gonna take a while to load, but it is what it is. And we're skipping through the Vault Hunters. Wait, was it like 56? I think it was. Yeah, I remember correctly. So, yeah, interact, sneak, side, traverse, search, talk. Yeah, it covers all of them. Yep. Fair enough. Because yeah, you have 4 stats and only one of them does not apply to anything. So damage. Makes sense, makes sense. So, we got a general idea of how the stats work. Let's go into the archetype. There are many types of badasses in the world. Shooty badasses, flamey badasses, explodey badasses. Choosing an archetype and a class is your opportunity to decide which type of badass you'd like to be. The 4 archetypes are Deadeye, Elementalist, Enforcer, and Guardian. Enforcers do a lot of damage, Elementalists focus on their action skills, Deadeyes don't miss, and Guardians never stop moving. Archetypes are found on page 20. While choosing an archetype, also read various archetype feats. If I'm not mistaken, the archetypes are kind of the section which you can advance, or at the very least you can multi-class in. The classes are you choose one and that's the one that you're gonna stay at, but archetypes can actually be mixed and matched together, and you can have a bit of both, a bit of more. But yeah, and select each one of your chosen archetypes. Some feats may have requirements that must be met, and that feat can be selected. Before that feat can be selected, write the selected archetype on the character sheet in the archetype section, and write the value of each stat in the corresponding stat box. Then write the archetype feat in the skill and feats sections. At level 5, there will be an opportunity for you to learn a second archetype. So yeah, archetypes are something that you can multi-class, but only starting at level 5, and can only have like a secondary one. I'm guessing you can't be too punch king about it. And this is gonna be what determines your starting stats, which you then can modify with whatever. I think I'm not sure if you get any modifiers at level 1, or if it's something that you're gonna get. Oh, well, you get some stat increases, yeah, from whatever class you're choosing. So, but definitely for level up. So as mentioned here, Enforcers, yes, they are more damagey type, not as accurate, but they do a lot of hurt. Definitely not in the action skill scenario, so they're more gun focused. Elementals, they are more they're more action skill focused, and not necessarily as high damage. So they're more a bit of the skill monkeys. They're all about shooting, but I'm guessing they're a bit more, I guess, glass. Not necessarily harasser type, I guess, to be a lot closer to say. Then that they're a bit lower in damage, because if you had like, although if you get Deadeye and then you multi-class it with Enforcer, you're gonna be a fucking. Actually, no, because you're getting starting stats. You don't get both stats if you then multi-class. You just get one of the first of your baseline. My bad. I don't know why my brain went there for a second. And Guardian, which is all about being speedy. For some reason, although I'm pretty sure like Guardian might have like the names might give you an idea that what should expect. I'm guessing Guardians could be a bit more tanky, but at least more support based. Definitely, and that's why you get the speed. That is more the harasser type, Enforcer more on the heavy damage, but kind of like slow moving. Elementalist kind of like the skill monkey utilities. Oh yeah, then you also choose a class. What's your hero fantasy? Maybe you're a dual-wielding madman cackling with delight as your casings hit the ground. Maybe you're a precise, mysterious killer for hire. Regardless of your choice, your class is how you embody your particular power fantasy. Bunkers and Badasses features 9 classes, and each has a skill tree that is unique to their class. Want to use Fist to forcibly remove the from undead? The Berserker could be right for you. Want a mech asterisk who can punch and mow down spider ants? Necromancer has you covered. Whatever your taste in destruction, there is a class where you will thrive. And also the asterisk when it comes to mech, like yeah, a normal robot, but fantasy. Because again, this whole idea of the book is that it's written within a fantasy setting. So how exactly would you have a mech in a fantasy setting? I don't know. Fantasy. It is. You have constructs. Whatever. You don't have to justify it. The 9 classes are Assassin, Berserker, Commando, Gunzerker, Hunter, Necromancer, Psycho, Siren, and Soldier. More info later down the line at page 28. After selecting class, write the class name on the character sheet. Yeah, and as I mentioned, for anybody familiar with the Borderlands franchise, because this is interpreted from Borderlands 2, it's quite obvious that this takes... The classes are the Vault Hunters from both Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 brought here. Assassin is obviously Zero, Berserker is Brick, Commando is Axton, Gunzerker is Salvador, Hunter is Mordecai, Necromancer is Gage, Psycho is Krieg, and Siren, I'm most likely, if I remember correctly, it's a combo of both Lilith and Maya. So I think there you have a selection of which type of Siren you want to go. And Soldier is Roland. Yeah, it's the Vault Hunters as classes, basically. Then, after you select the class, you obtain class features, which are offer even greater customization. Class features include stat modifiers, favorite gun, melee die, action skills, background, and a skill tree. Yeah, these are I like the kind of like the wanted style of the Vault Hunters. You have like the Psycho, the Assassin. I think this was like I think one of the designs for like one of the Sirens. So first, stat increases. Each class grants the Vault Hunter a single bonus to 3 of their 4 stats. Once a class is selected, the corresponding stats should be added to the character sheet. So, Assassin adds double 2 accuracy and 1 speed and 1 mastery, but no additional damage. Berserker adds additional 2 damage, 1 speed and 1 mastery, but no accuracy. Commando adds 1 accuracy, 1 damage, and 2 mastery, but no speed. Gunzerker adds 1 accuracy, damage, no speed, but adds mastery. Hunter adds 2 accuracy, adds 1 damage, but no speed and 1 mastery. Necromancer doesn't add any accuracy, but adds 1 damage, 1 speed, and 2 mastery. Psycho has 1 accuracy, 2 damage, 1 speed, but no mastery. Siren, depending on the option, Lightwalk, which is most likely the Lightwalk, I think it's Lilith. From the name, it's 1 accuracy, 1 damage, 2 speed, 0 mastery. And Siren Phase Lock, which this is definitely Maya, is 0 accuracy, 1 damage, 1 speed, and 2 mastery. And Soldier, 1 accuracy, no damage, speed, and 2 mastery. There. In the combo of the archetype stats here, with the stat increases here, you can have a bit of a decent like mix and match of all of them and get an idea. Then action skill is a special ability that a Vault Hunter can perform once per encounter, and an additional number of times per Pandoran day based on their mastery modifier. For example, a player with 3 mastery modifier can use their action skill once every encounter, and then use it again up to 3 times per day. You can even use all 3 action skills in the same encounter if they are crazy like that. Most action skills allow players to perform special attacks or maneuvers that give a powerful edge during an encounter or when showing off. Write the name and description of your action skill on the character sheet that is provided. Additional notes for your action skills can be placed in the familiar or action skill notes, including total damage in the box labeled damage, in case the action skill might be damage related. Then you have favorite and non-favorite guns. Each class has a gun they prefer. All others, the kind they sleep next to or know or with, but not like that, every night. We call this particular, but hey, who knows? Maybe some are into that. Not here to judge. It's Pandora, but I think I know Tannis. Didn't Tannis have like a relationship with like? Not sure if it was like a chair. I think it was a chair. She had like a whole like manic moment where she just had because of her isolation. She just had like this kind of imaginary relationship with a chair. So at this point, having a relationship with a gun, and considering that within the Borderlands franchise, some guns are AI, are sentient, are also integrated with sentient AIs. Would not fucking surprise me. Yeah, we call this particular type of gun the Vault Hunter's favorite gun. When making a range attack with a favorite gun, Vault Hunters add their accuracy and damage modifiers to their respective rolls. An accuracy roll and damage rolls. Players can also gain additionally favorite guns types from level up rewards found in their archetype tree. Each class has a choice of 2 favorite guns at the start, but more options become available through leveling up. There is a spot in the character sheet to fill in your favorite gun type. Non-favorite guns are fun too and should not be discounted. They just don't have the stat bonuses. Sometimes you want to shoot a rocket launcher, but that doesn't mean you want to make it your BFF. Yeah, it's just something that definitely, when it comes to, like, you know, doing the most hurt, it's something you can do. But depending on the scenario, you might still find some or other weapons, and you know, within your arsenal you have a selection of them. And especially at the beginning, you're not gonna just be just selecting all types of snipers, or I don't know if you have like snipers as a favorite weapon. Maybe you want something that is a bit more better, like closer range or anything of the sorts, whatever the hell. Yeah, now skill tree. Okay, so this part is gonna look complicated, but it's not as scary as it seems. Each class has its own specific skill tree. As play progresses, the player will be able to unlock more and more cool stuff with their skill tree. Its skill tree has a few sections: a class name, a skill tree name, skill tiers, and skills. At level 1, the first skill point, the SP, can be only placed in a tier 1 skill. 3 skill points are needed in a tier to unlock the next one. The skill level of a skill is based on how many skill points have been placed in a certain skill. Literally, if you've done any skill trees within a game, it's what it's describing. It's having that, you know, having multiple skills, like multiple skill trees. You choose in which one you want to advance, and each skill tree has maybe like columns of additional like skills that you select, and you need to progress within those columns. And certain skills might allow you to invest in them with multiple points, becoming better the more points you invest. And here being the capstone of 3. It's literally like in Borderlands, just probably a bit more distilled and simplified, so it don't really have the giant granularity that Borderlands offers you, because one, too complicated, because Borderlands has a way bigger cap level, it being at currently I think it's 80 with all the DLCs, so that would be a lot. Secondly, a lot of it's hard to interpret within a ttrpg, because some have like the expected kind of like incremental like percentage stat changes or increases or decreases depending on the case, and a few of them have like special effects or abilities or anything of the sort. So yeah, it's also a simplification because of that. Because it's harder to interpret every aspect of number increases and just represent all of that. It's just the core ideas and core concepts brought into the paper format. Then melee dice. When feeling the desire to punch something, either A, seek therapy, or B, bring out a melee die. The melee attacks in Bunkers and Badasses usually hit simply due to proximity, but there is a chance to miss or possibly deal even more damage. Each class has a melee die listed in their class features. When creating a Vault Hunter, write down the type of melee die in the box provided on the character sheet. I would personally, you know, say that if you want to, maybe you should also expand the concept of maybe like melee weaponry here or there. Considering that this is a bit inspired, and yeah, the Borderlands spin-off game got released a lot later down the line, and there they brought a melee system, which is not necessarily great, but you could take some ideas from it and have some more interesting things that you can do with the melee die, and maybe actually, or at the least design something simple, because the way it kind of currently it's designed is that each class has a melee die, and that's the melee they do. No matter what the hell you take. If you take a pipe, if you take a bat, if you take a fucking, I don't know, piece of a concrete, a giant ass hammer or dinky ass dagger, all of them will, within the system, all of them will be considered by the same melee die. So in my opinion, I would probably suggest, if you have players that might explore that side and not just be fully gun focused and occasionally just experiment, just have something at least frameworked very simplistically in mind, maybe just simply based on whatever type of weapon they take in hand, they might do some additional damage or have some stat changes based on that, or like stat roll changes based on that. And think of it this way: if you don't necessarily want to make something more granular, like, I don't know, actual weapon types, and have those be influenced. But anyways, that's something, again, that would maybe put it there as a kind of a warning. And finally, the last thing that you have to choose within this section of the class is the background. There are a range of backgrounds to choose from each class that they are listed on the class page. Each background gives a glimpse on what life was like before becoming a Vault Hunter, and grants some bonuses and penalties based on the past adventures. Once a background is selected, it can be written into the background sections on the back of the character sheet. Note whether the background modifies any stats. I'm guessing background is integrated within the Vault Hunter system, because it goes under the idea that, you know, Vault Hunters definitely follow a specific, each class follows a specific theme. So because of that, most likely someone that becomes a Vault Hunter of that might have a past, because all Vault Hunters in the lore of the game, Vault Hunters are seen as mercenaries. Like, they're just a very hyper specialized mercenaries, or not necessarily hyper specialized, or they're just mercenaries that have the tism when it comes to vaults. That's their tism, that they only care about vault hunting. As when it comes to merc work, anything that pushes them forward to find a vault, that's what they'll do. That's kind of their whole shtick. So, but before that, before getting into the vault hunting business, they most likely have had pasts that allowed them to achieve the skills they achieved at that moment, because vault hunters are technically seen as the highest of the highest when it comes to mercs. Like, they are some of the best mercenaries out there, like, than anything else. So definitely they might have already a specialized and already a well experienced past to some degree or another, or they might just have some really powerful innate abilities if you are talking about something like a siren. So they're not necessarily just some run-of-the-mill. They would already have something big behind them. They would have like big experiences behind them to some degree, just not wall hunting big, just big for any other run-of-the-mill person. Yeah, if someone like an assassin will definitely have anything that would probably follow within an assassin concept, like what type of assassin, what forms of assassins you can find, and all that sort of thing. All, you know, we're gonna look probably to that to this section of backgrounds and see and get ourselves an idea what exactly they offer us, and based on that we can also go into might even discuss the possibility if we have to necessarily stick with how the system has it, or we can just mix and match. Maybe we can take a background from a different class and put it into the other one. We'll just have to look at it first, because I could probably see, depending on certain situations, I could maybe see some mix and matches. I don't necessarily see a reason why backgrounds are necessarily to be fully beholden to a specific thing. There will definitely be some backgrounds that would not are specifically designed for whatever class they are done, and within whatever reasons, could be lore, could be thematics, could not fit any other class, and that makes sense. But then I'm suspecting there's going to be also a good selection that you can easily reinterpret for the other classes as well, and we could probably discuss about that idea of not necessarily limiting, allowing a bit of that customization. But yeah, when we get there, because I'm suspecting we're gonna get there, because we still have traits, then we have base modifiers, check modifiers, level up, yeah, badass rank, and we just have a few more pages and we're gonna get there. And you know, we're barely about to get into the second hour, so definitely we're gonna check the list of things. So finally, traits. Not finally, but the next thing that you add to your character Vault Hunter is traits. Each Vault Hunter gets 2 traits chosen and 1 rolled using a 2 D100s. 1 with 10's value, so you're using a percentile roll. That's basically what that means. Each player gets 1 reroll. Write the 2 traits on the back of the character sheet in the section marked traits. Feel free to embellish. Include checks and bonuses to that trait provided. Possibly mark that check with an asterisk as a reminder of the special bonus. Yeah, basically, I'm guessing traits are kind of like, you know, character quirks or behaviors and that kind of thing. And we can quickly look at them to get an idea why exactly the formatting looks a bit weird. Like why you have these kind of more weirdly odded, kind of like put over kind of stylized strips of paper. The book is designed to be technically written by 2 authors. You have the in-lore author for the book, which is, I forgot the name, Grey Gax Perenia Darnason, which is quite obvious. It's definitely a play on Gary Gygax when it comes to a name. That's the author of the book. Bunkers and Badasses is an in-universe ttrpg system that exists within the Pandora setting, which is, you know, the main plot of the Tiny Tina Assault on Dragon Keep DLC. You're not playing in an actual real thing within Pandora. No, you're playing some imaginary make-believe world within the confines of tabletop role-playing, and that Tina is game mastering. So, and then you have this, which is the second author notes, because technically what we are reading is the copy of the book owned by Tiny Tina. So Tiny Tina has added her own little adjustments, changes to the book, and her own occasional commentary, as you've probably seen with the kind of pink, you know, written text that is added quite obviously on top of the normal formatted, you know, book text. So yeah, on occasion, Tina will intervene and make her own creations instead of letting the, you know, game master run on, letting the author run with the system as, you know, as intended. Which is technically, if you think about it on a meta level, it's very Borderlands, and it's definitely adding that wacky Borderlands aspect where, you know, some things definitely are a bit more, you know, structured, proper, well-defined story level, when it comes to storytelling and game game narrative and game experience. But then you also have the occasional off-the-rail wacky things. I don't know, if we talk about like a good example of Borderlands 3, you have a rocket launcher that shoots burgers, because that's a thing, you know, characters that act in very kind of weird, wacky ways when it comes to like certain quirks. But you also have the normal, like, more down-to-earth, grounded level parts of storytelling and parts of game experience and gameplay. Yeah, it's very kind of meta level, designed to feel like Borderlands by acting like Borderlands. Yeah, already for the first trait on a 1 and 2, Tina intervenes with "Everyone betray me. You are left for dead by your last group of adventuring quotation mark friends, and now you're suspicious of everyone. +5 on deception insight checks." So you are really well at reading other people's bullshit. Then on a 3 and 4 drifter, you never stayed anywhere long. Always on the move. You're always good at making a hairpin turns in souped up sports cars. Okay. +5 on encounter checks, so you're pretty good at traveling. Freelance. You used to get a regular paycheck. Now you don't. On the upside, freedom. On the downside, ramen for every meal. +5 on mercenary insight checks. Rough but too real. Inspiration. You've got an uncanny ability to convince people to agree to things that go against their own interest. Maybe consider running for office? Agent talks checks. Sure enough. Then you have at 9 and 10, Tina intervenes. Renegade cop with nothing to lose. He killed your partner and got away with it. Now you've got to put the whole system on trial. Turn in your badge and your gun, then get just several other guns and a new badge that reads without fights. +5 on in-your-face talk checks. It's up to you to then kind of interpret these very, on occasion kind of wacky scenarios and how to interpret it, which has a bit of that kind of Borderlands-y flavor. 11 to 12, Riddler. You know that the doctor was the mother. You know that the hanged man was standing on a block of ice. You're aware that both of the corpses were goldfish. +5 on riddle insight checks. I'm pretty sure these are like references to actual riddles. And probably one of those like really weird, morbid, or absurd riddles. Because I remember like I forgot the name of it. It was like a road trip kind of game where you basically pulled out a card. It was kind of like a card game where everybody like took the deck, pulled a card where it basically added a riddle, and everybody had to guess the answer to that riddle, and it was like really absurdist, kind of in some cases even maybe a bit gruesome, kind of like history riddles that were always so weird and had to go in so many ways to kind of figure out how exactly to reach the answer, because it was kind of like a yes or no type of questioning to be able to get to the answer. But anyways, fun little thing, but I'm guessing it probably references those styles of games, or like maybe like famous riddles of that type that people recognize. The one with the block of ice, yeah, reminds me, because I think there was like a one where the whole thing is that somebody died. There was like a pool of water and something else, and the answer was that he got stabbed with an ice shard that melted, something like that. I forgot. Anyways, rant. Then infiltrator, keep you waiting, huh? +5 on bunker sneak checks. Up to you to define what bunker means. Wayfinder, secret doors, schmikret schmoors. +5 on hidden door checks. Climber, you spend a lot of time at the rock climbing gym and never miss an opportunity to tell people. Of course. +5 on climbing traverse. Intense, you have a terminal case of RBF, resting badass face. +5 on intimidate talk checks. Looter, whoever said it's about the journey, not the reward, has never found the legendary sniper rifle. +5 on loot search checks. Breacher, most barricades and locked doors cannot withstand your might. You are also good with opening bottles and jars. +5 on strength interact checks. Filch, you've got sticky fingers, figuratively. Unless you want literal sticky fingers, in which case give yourself a -5 to all interact based checks. Also, go to jail because you are a criminal. +5 on gun interact checks. Fair enough. Swift, although I did like, that they gave you like the option, like if you really want sticky fingers, go ahead, add that. You have the option, but you're crazy about it. Swift, they can't stop you if they can't catch you. +5 terrain first checks. Then I am a big stupid idiot who sucks. You're just the worst. +5 on being an absolute turd to checks. So I guess if you want to be that fucking really annoying type of character, like really awful, I guess have an option. Insider, you've seen the inside of every guild on Pandora and are not welcome back at most of them. +5 guild sneak checks. Fair, although I'm also suspecting that might be wanted with some of them, because I don't think some would prefer that type of behavior or accept it and you still being kept alive. You can already think of you like, I don't know, Hyperion. Maybe Dahl has a history of killing some people. Yeah. Maybe Maliwan. Maybe Maliwan at the least would make it look accidental. Tracker. You're able to get into the mind of your quarry, predicting their movements. 5 on tracking search checks. Blender. You have one of the most forgettable faces, which serves you well when you need to be incognito +5 on crowd sneaks. Aficionado. You know a lot about guns, like an unnerving amount. +5 on gun insight. Historian. You never tire of hearing. Why don't you get a real job? +5 on history insight. Ouch. But it's for anybody who has a history degree. Man or woman or non-binary about town. You're a social butterfly who wants to explore friendly environments, I'm guessing, and interact with friendly NPCs. Partially because the towns are fun, and partially because you like forcing your bunker master to speak in voices. +5 on town search checks. Okay, everybody, be cool. Just want everyone to get along. You picked the wrong occupation, but still, good for you. +5 on diplomacy talks. Then haggler, retail is for suckers. +5 on bargaining talks. Then what do you do, hippie eyes? What do your hippie eyes see? Grew up in the forest and love sneaking around and eating mushrooms or whatever. You probably don't shower. +5 on forest sneaks. Then parkour. You have delusions of being Spider-Ant Man. +5 on vaulting traverse. Yeah. Once again, Tina intervening with, I hate you, Dad. Your dad says you never amount to anything and you gotta prove him wrong. +5 on proving authority figures wrong. That's kind of a cool one, I guess. Like, if you want to make that kind of daddy issue type of character. Rocks rock. You're a geologist. You came for the rocks. You stay for the wanton violence. Wow. +5 on element search checks. Fair enough. Would I lie? Yes, probably. +5 on bluffing checks. Bluffing talks. Then nothing over till you're underground. Nothing's over till you're underground. You seek death because it makes you feel alive. So edgy. +5 on interact checks while shields are depleted. Oh. Okay, very hyper specific. But fair. 60, you can't fool me. Your favorite uncle died to a failed trap search. So you're out to avenge him by disarming every trap you can. +5 on trap search checks. Fair enough. Tina, once again, macho man. You were a professional wrestler who decided you needed the ultimate prize. +5 to melee attacks if they're pro wrestling moves. That's gonna encourage a lot of people to be really which, to be fair, I like it. It's one of those things where, you know, to encourage a bit of role play into your combat, which is nice. I would approve of this one. Now, you don't say. You're skeptical of everyone without exception. +5 on intent insights. Masseuse, you have the magic touch and can soothe every even the wildest beast with your fingers. +5 on sentient interact. Contortionist, quite the opposite. You can bend and flex to fit into ridiculous tight spaces. +5 on squeeze. Okay, another Tina interject. Too hot. Hot damn. You're so attractive you had to flee your village because the hotties were too thirsty for you. +5 on flirting talk checks. No, don't encourage the bards with this one. No, I do not approve of this one. Stop picking at that. You're a master lock picker who wants to pick the world's greatest chest. +5 on lock picking interact. Fair enough. Artful dodger. You gotta pick a pocket or two. +5 on sleight of hands. Tinkerer. You can take apart and put back together everything you in your pack, and you will if anyone seems remotely interested. +5 on puzzle. Fair enough. Good. Got a bad feeling about this. You can tell when stuff's about to go sideways. +5 on danger inside. Border. You need stuff. It makes you feel complete. It gives you meaning. Capitalism. +5 on item search. Good. Clear eyes. Big gun. Can lose. Live to pump up other people. You are the ultimate hype person. +5 on inspirational talks. Nice. Then Tina again. Bust a move. You're a breakdancer who needs to earn enough money to save your rec center, record center. +5 to dancing. Because why not? You're just a good dancer. The load. You have mastered the art of hiding unwanted items. People. +5 plan to sneak. sucking up. Has anyone told you how great you look in that cloak? +5 to Gratiate talks. So, you know, being a bootlicker. Shape of water. You are an expert swimmer with a freak-like ability to hold your breath. +5 swimming traverse, and I hate that you called it shape of water. Why? Yo soy Manuel dexterity. You're very good with your fingers. Dexterity interact. Fair enough. Down +B. You think it's faster to slide than to walk. Oh my god, this is so gamey. Fair enough. +5 on sliding traverse checks. Why not? Was your girlfriend? Woof. You love setting traps, not entirely unlike a small child who has been left alone at home during Christmas. +5 on trap interact. That's the truth, Roof. So long as you keep talking, reality bends to your will. +5 deception. And finally, boom, baby. You are a connoisseur of fine explosions, and you hope to one day blow up the sun. +5 on explosion interact checks. Mr. Torg approves of this one. But yeah, as you can see, really wacky, really fun. I do appreciate that, hey, you have a few that you can choose to that seem to fit your character. And then also that random chaos element of here. You have one that you have no control in, which could be also seen as some sort of your, I don't know, inherent flaw or aspect of your character that you might not necessarily appreciate, but it's part of you. Kind of like a flaw. So it's an interesting way to interpret that. But yeah, those are the list of traits. As I said, I kind of am also slightly going through the list because I think we're going to have the time to do so. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to quickly take a break as an ad is about to pop up in a few seconds. And I'll return once the ad is over. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Had to deal with the thing. Why it took me a bit longer to return. But anyways, now that we're back here, we can continue. We've already looked at picking a class, a modifier, not a modifier, an archetype. What are the modifiers in general? What are the some of the class features that you obtain once choosing a class? Now we are getting to the point of calculating your base stats and modifiers. So to calculate base stats, combine archetype stats, class stats, and background stats to take an additional 3 points and add them to any desired stat, either all in one or spread amongst a few, and write in the total the base stat in the corresponding stat box of the character sheet. To calculate modifiers, simply divide each base stat in half, rounding down the base stat when it's an odd number. Write each modifier number in the small box. So yeah, all these additions that you do here, you know, the 1, 4, +2, +1s, these increase the score, which is the big box, and the modifier, unlike the base stat, the modifier is the division. And here you have a simple example of, you know, if you get a 4, that means that you have, if you have 4 accuracy, that means that your modifier is a +2. If you have 2 damage, that means that your modifier is a +1. 3 speed, a +1, 4 mastery, it's a +2, and so on. So easy peasy. Not a lot more simpler, I think, than D&D when it comes to like figuring out like what is a modifier, what is the base stat. Because with the base stat and modifiers there, it's a bit more funky. I think it gets in higher numbers. Basically, that's kind of the whole shtick. As you know, you have this whole range where it starts as a baseline 10. And then, you know, higher than 10 is higher than 11, it's a positive. Lower than 10, it's a negative. Where 10 and 11 are the kind of baseline, kind of mundane and no bonus. And depending on the person, that could be a bit confusing to understand. And it's all in you know, in multiplicates of 2. So, you know, 12, 13 is a +1, 14, 15 +2, and so on. While here is just a lot simpler. Just divide it, that's your modifier, that's what you add to the roll. There, easy peasy. No other things that you need to deal with. Oh, speaking of modifiers, one of the places where you are going to use them is the check mods. A check is a simple test to determine whether or not a Vault Hunter's ability or knowledge can help to overcome a challenge or obstacle. A check is typically performed by rolling a d20 against a difficulty set by the Bunker Master. The Bunker Master will ask for a check whenever the player attempts to perform a non-trivial action. You know, emphasis on non-trivial. If it's trivial, then there's no reason to do a check, because that means that in most scenarios you would succeed. In case there is something out of the ordinary happening to the character, where like some sort of, like, I don't know, the affliction, they might be hurt in some way or some way negatively impacted, that would then turn something that would be normally at a base level trivial into an actual challenging action. Yeah. Inside, using accuracy modifier, you know, want to prove you know stuff about stuff, that you've been around the Pandoran block, and have a memory to prove it. All the things you know about things are just an insight check away. Interact, which is also another accuracy modifier. There are levers that need pulling, gates to be opened, and doors kicked in. Interact is all of these and anything else that needs to be handled, thrown, or flayed about. Search, which is a mastery. Unsure if you're walking into a trap. Suspect there might be some extra loot hidden in a room. Why not perform a search check? Sneak, which is also mastery. So, you know, one of them is a bit more of the mental stats, while the other one is a bit more on the dexterous stats, if you were to consider it this way. When you want to do anything and not get caught, like picking a lock, steal from a sleeping guard, or creep up upon an enemy, sneak checks are the way to go. Then talk, which is requires the speed modifier. Going guns blazing isn't always the answer. Sometimes you need a mount to mount a charm offensive. There can be value in talking your way out of a situation. And traverse is also speed modifier. Jump, climb, roll, flip. Traverse checks. Self-explanatory, I suppose, when it comes to anything that is traveling. But yeah, place these corresponding base stat modifiers in the first column, in the checks section on the character sheet. If a player has any additional modifiers from a background, traits, or skills, place them in the miscellaneous modifier section, the second column. Add or subtract the values determined to determine the check modifiers for each type. So here's kind of an example. Interact has a +2 accuracy modifier and nothing else, so that's just a +2. The talk has a +1 speed modifier, but from some other odd means there is a -2 modifier for other aspects, so there is a -1. Insight, it's a +2, so everything then it's +2. Sneak, +2 with nothing else, so again +2, and go on with search with a +2 and traverse with a +2 and modifiers. Yeah, quite self-explanatory. And I think this is the final one before getting into the list of sections. Or technically, there is also the aspect of level. Every Vault Hunter has a unique and varied past full of experiences that eventually lead them to a life of hunting vaults. But once a vault hunting journey begins, all Vault Hunters begin at level 1. It is by adventuring and escapading through Pandora that a Vault Hunter's level increases with the accumulation of experience points, XP. For the full rules of leveling up, we've checked the page a while ago, so we have a bit of an idea. XP, the sweet nectar of progress. Experience points that track the Vault Hunter's journey. Overcoming challenges and puzzles allow the party to gain shared XP as a group. At level 1, write 100 on the XP bar line. On the character sheet, for every 100 XP earned, a new segment line is filled. Once 10 segment lines are filled, a new level is achieved. See see page 64 for leveling up rewards. So XP bar 100. Initially used, and it kind of give you like an example. I started with 50, then maybe there was another adventure thing that got us another 50, and we got to 100, so this got filled in. Or maybe, who knows, we started with 50, then we got 70 for something else, so we noted here that we got 100 to fill this in, and the remnant is being put to the second bar to get an idea that we are now progressing the second bar of leveling up. And then health. When attacked, enemies tend to attack back. So health is a measure of how close the player is to purchasing a one-way ticket to the undiscovered country from whose board no traveler returns. Vault Hunter's health is based on level. To calculate max level, at level 1, add 10 to the highest value on the melee die. For example, an assassin has a 1d6 melee dice. That means that 6 plus, so their max value of a melee of a 1d6 being 6. That means that they add another 10 to that max value, so their max health is 16. Health regen occurs when a player takes no damage over a course of a turn. Health regenerates equal to the regeneral value up to max level. Level 1 Vault Hunter don't start with points in health regen, but can add regen points. Good choices. Okay. Regen, yeah, at level 1. So I'm guessing that's something more, that a feature that might be obtained either as a part of a class or something else of the sorts, or maybe some item or effect that can be obtained, or potion, but not as a baseline ability, because you have shields for that. So yeah, C, badass rank. Bunkers and Badasses is all about being a badass. Badass rank is a badge of honor worn proudly like a necklace of skag ears. At level 1, a Vault Hunter begins with 1 badass rank, 0 badass tokens. Badass rank is not the same as Vault Hunter level. Badass rank should level up about half as often as character level. More on badass rank and tokens on page 62. And you know, the badass, it's a bit more open-ended in how exactly you advance and level up in that aspect, so not necessarily as rigid or as fixated as here, but it's definitely a big aspect of the Vault hunting experience. And then finally, once you have all of this up, you need stuff, you know, as a Vault Hunter, which means starting items, because no adequate Vault Hunter can begin their journey in Pandora without essential items. A gun. Guns. So, and which you receive them in the form of gun cards. They also, I think, on the PDF offer you like a formatted version where you have like digital gun cards, so you can also snip them that way if you want. But to understand the anatomy of a gun card, you have the manufacturer in the top corner. This case is the malefactor in the top left. You have the rarity written right underneath, which is common. The name, top center, crappy SMG. You have the gun type, which is top right, which is an SMG with also a visual icon of the gun type. D20 plus accuracy modifier blank. Players write their AC modifier in the accuracy modifier in that slot. Hit based on accuracy is the blue circle. Crit based on accuracy is the red circle. D4 plus damage modifier blank. That refers to players write their damage modifier in there. That refers to the type of counter damage that gun is gonna do. Range of gun, which is right underneath the damage, which is 5, which means 5 squares. Elemental type, which is in the bottom left corner, in this case being fire, which is shown by a flame icon. And special rules, -2 damage modifier, most likely because it's an Maliwayon weapon and does elemental types. So because of that, I'm suspecting that elemental types, similar to the actual Borderlands video game, might play into the idea that they do higher damage if they hit the right target, if they hit the right target weakness. But yeah, guns. Well, a crappy basic gun, but it's a start. Have each player choose one of the 2 from their favorite gun types listed on the class page. Using the starter gun chart, have them fill out a blank gun card with the corresponding stats, and have them choose a guild for their crappy starting gun, and refer to the guild bonus chart for that for what bonuses to write down on the gun card. On their starting gun card, make sure they put a reminder on that it is their favorite weapon, so they can get those sweet bonuses of accuracy and damage rolls. More information on a gun and guild bonuses are on page 90. But to get an idea of starter gun charts, you have a pistol, which is a range of 5 squares. It has at accuracy 2 and 7, it has 1 hit, no crits. On accuracy 8 and 15, it's 2 hits, no crits. And to understand what hit means, that it refers to how many dice rolls, how many damage dice rolls you do. So if you do, if you roll between 2 and 7 total, that means that and let's take the example, the 1d4 crappy SMG. And that means that you roll 1d4 because you had 1 hit. If you go between 8 and 15, you do 2d4 because you got 2 hits. And then for the pistol at 16 plus, you get 3 hits but no crit. Sucky, I guess. Submachine guns, 5 range, 2 hits at the lower end of accuracy, 3 hits at the mid range, and 5 hits at the high range because they're SMG. So I think that's kind of the whole shtick. Shotguns, they have a range of 4 squares. 1 hit at the lowest accuracy roll, 2 hits at the highest, and 1 hit and 1 crit at the max accuracy. And crit is a additional d10 dice roll that you do instead of rolling the weapon base die. And I think you can also add your damage if you favorite gun. Combat rifle has a range of 6. 1 hit at the low level accuracy, 3 hits at the high level, and 3 hits and 1 crit at the high end. Sniper rifles have 8 squares because they are snipers. At the lower end, you have no hits and no crits if you just miss. At the high end, you have 1 hit and no crits. On the mid end, on the highest end of accuracy, you have 1 hit and 1 crit because you're a sniper. And finally, rocket launcher, 4 squares. On lower end accuracy, you have 1 hit but nothing else. On high end accuracy, you have 2 hits, and on mid accuracy, and on the highest level of accuracy, you have 2 hits and crit. Then you have guild bonus charts, where you have in one on the leftmost column you have the guild. In the middle column we have the gun types, because each guild does not manufacture each type of gun. There are certain gun types that are not manufactured. And at the rightmost column is the stats that you would add. So guild Alas actually, which is Atlas. You have combat rifles, pistols, shotguns, and sniper rifles. Their additional bonus is a +1 to the damage modifier, so you do damage. The Skulldugger, which is the bandit version of this, is pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, and rocket launchers. Interesting that they also have snipers, which is something common with bandit weapons. You have a damage +2 modifier, but they have overheat, take 1d4 damage on reload, which is kind of built into the idea of, I think, of the overheat from Borderlands 3. Dahlia, which is doll. You got combat rifles, pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles. Interesting that you have shotguns, which is not a common thing for Dahlia or for doll. You have a burst, which means a +1 hit for, I'm guessing, for each range. So, which is a good combo if you have, for example, sniper, because that means that even when you miss, you still get a hit with the sniper. Then black powder, which is Jacobs, combat rifles, pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, which is +2 on the accuracy modifier and +2 on the crit damage. So that means that Yeah, I think no, this with the crit damage, I think it only applies when you actually crit. It doesn't apply to anything else. So yeah, that's fine. Manufacturer, which is Maliwan, the elemental manufacturer, pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifle, rocket launchers. Yeah, all of them are within Maliwan. Yeah, the shotguns are were added in Lands Free. So you have a roll for elemental type, which I'm guessing it's randomize which elemental you start with, and you have a -2 damage modifier because I think the elemental give you the edge if you apply it correctly. Hyperius, which is Hyperion, combat rifles, pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, and rocket launchers. That's all of them for Hyperius. And is there a game where Hyperion has rocket launchers? Might be Borderlands 1. Might be. Which is also could be a thing that why some of these selections here are the way they are, because they could also be taken from Borderlands 1, if I remember correctly. There might actually be variants even in Borderlands 1 before free. Other people probably associate like this weapon type spreads with Borderlands 2. That's kind of the one that I'm usually used to and that I kind of associate with personally, but sure, I suppose. Yeah, for Hyperius, you have a +1 to accuracy modifier and a -2 damage modifier, but you have a higher chance to hit. That's an aspect of Hyperion. Superior, or TDR, you have combat rifles, pistols, submachine guns, and shotguns. And no rocket launchers. That's kind of BS. I would honestly remove combat rifles and put rocket launchers. What the hell? Because that's literally their thing. That's because look, on swap reloads, instead of reloading, you do 1d4 grenade damage, because that's the feature of TDR. Your weapon is a grenade. You don't reload it. You throw it, it explodes, and you destruct a new one. Because they are like really cheaply made weapons that can be easily digitalized and basically reprinted on the spot. So yeah, that's like, and that was like the whole thing with rocket launchers. The fucking, the whole, Lance Krieg build and all that kind of BS. So I don't know, maybe personally I would probably change up some of these spreads to kind of do something a bit more appropriate to them, in my opinion. Then Torg, you have combat rifles, pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, that's interesting, and rocket launchers. Sniper rifles are not really, there are a few. I think there's like a sniper rifle. Technically it's marked as being Jacob's, but it is technically Torg theme in the Torg DLC. So they do splash. I'm guessing that means that they also damage people next to you. And accuracy modifier is a -4. Yeah, because those they are slow-moving projectiles and they are harder to hit, so it kind of fits in the theme. And Stoker, which is the Vladov variant. You have combat rifles, pistols, shotguns, okay, sniper rifles, yes, and rocket launch. Yeah, rocket launchers were a thing. Shotguns, that's an interesting one. Extra attack, meaning I'm guessing you can shoot an additional time. And accuracy modifier -3, because the whole thing with the Vladov is they are rapid fire weapons. They are like full auto. Everything here is full auto, including the sniper and the rocket launcher. Like the rocket launcher, I think it has like revolving barrels or something like that, or like rapid fire rockets. And I remember like the sniper rifle has literally a revolving double barrel. And pistol is the same thing. It has kind of like two barrels that rotate. And combat rifles is probably what it basically has like a mini gun, kind of like 3-barrel kind of mini gun on top of it. But yeah, personally, I'll probably change up some of these stat spreads because I don't know. And I feel like not all of this is kind of like equally representative. Like, some have definitely more interesting things than others. And I would personally probably modify to get some of those ideas as well. Like, for example, for Hyperius, I probably would take the whole concept that they added in Borderlands 3 with the shields, because that was kind of neat. I think there can be something there that you can do. With Black Powder, I mean, it does bonus crit damage. High accuracy makes sense. I mean, this one could be just the generalized really high stats. Although there is a nice, I do like the ricochet idea. Maybe it could be incorporated somehow. Dahlia, the burst one. What was it in? Oh, Borderlands. Yeah, Borderlands 2 had the. No, that was a Vlada thing. What did Borderlands 3 had for a doll? Was it still just burst? Hold up. I have to look it up. But I don't remember. Doll. Borderlands 2. Oh. Shit. Did I pass it? On Borderlands 3. Ah, yeah, the Outfire mode. Which could be full auto, semi-auto, or burst fire. Not even been. Full auto, semi-auto, or burst fire. I actually have an idea. This semi-auto, you could consider it similarly to like to Jacobs. That you could have like a bonus accuracy of +2. And the full auto, it could be the Stoker. There's some ideas there. I could probably definitely could expand this and maybe take some of the ideas that Borderlands 3 added, and because I feel like some of them don't feel like equally balanced. Like some of them have like interesting things while the other ones don't. Like literally, this one has the overhit system from Borderlands 3, but the other ones don't really have something similar. And Atlas. Like literally, Atlas has the whole thing with the bullet tracking. There could be something there. Definitely. And it could be the whole thing where, you know, it's kind of like the burst one where you get a +1 to hit. Or you can do it a bit more fun. You can maybe add some sort of like stat, some sort of like mention where you say like you can ignore covers. There's something there with the whole tracking thing that Atlas does, but yeah. Anyways, that's me getting into like homebrew territory and not what the game structures has built upon, which is fine, but you know, that's not the intent. Then after, you know, getting the things that do the hurt, you also need something that protects you, which are shield. Every Vault Hunter begins their adventure with a standard high intensity defense shield, or shits. Did I just name it like that so it sounds like shit? Thanks you, Gearbox. It has a capacity of 20 and a regenerate rate of 5. Shields are the first thing that take the damage. Once they are depleted, health is impacted. At the end of the turn, if the player has not taken any damage, shield recharge equal to the recharge rate equipped shield up to the max value. If any damage occurred during the turn, their shield does not recharge. Shield fully recharges at the end of every encounter. End of a turn, if a player has not taken any damage, their shield recharges. The wording is a bit weird. Like, my understanding here is after each turn, you determine if a player recharges their shield or not. That means that after each player turn, they, even outside of their own turn, they recharge shields unless they've taken damage, including their own. Oh. Well, that offers them quite a lot of breathing. That offers quite a lot of breathing room, and to be fair, that's shields are something that can also apply to enemies to some extent. So it can, you know, the challenge goes both ways, but that definitely adds an extra amount of like toughness to it all. So that's interesting. But yeah, I can see. But yeah, anyways, then you have gold. Step 1, get gold. Step 2, repeat. Step 1, each Vault Hunter determines their starting gold by rolling a 1d6 per level. By rolling each d6 will grant an amount of gold listed in the table below. Oh, 1d6 per level. Oh, I see what they mean. In case you are making Vault Hunters that are where the starting level is not 1, you can roll a few additional times, and you can range from at worst 30 gold to at best 150 gold. So depending on your luck to the rolls, you can be loaded or not. And finally, grenades. Grenades go boom when you throw them. Easy. At level 1, Vault Hunters begin with zero current grenades and a max of 3 grenades that they can have on their person. Through hard work and dedications, leveling up, they can unlock more slots to hoard more grenades when they do find them in their adventures. So yeah, that kind of goes with equipment, and I think that finally the last aspect of character creation is appearance and name. By the be they mechanical former drone or an androgynous assassin, Vault Hunters come in all shapes and sizes. Each class has a brief description of the typical appearance or clothing choice of that class, but a Vault Hunter's particular expression of visual badassitude is ultimately up to players. Players may choose any appearance they wish, including enemy types, be a goblin necromancer or even an orc commando. A Vault Hunter's tragic and epic backstory needs to have a newly established bonuses or penalties discussed with the bunker master. So basically, it allows you to have a bit of leeway. Every Vault Hunter needs an epic name that truly encapsulates their name. This name will be used by the bunker master and other party members, so choose wisely or ridiculously if you just want to, you know, the bunker master or your game master to just say funny words. The fun of an RPG is to really get into the role-playing aspect. It is an opportunity to live out strange and wonderful fantasies of adventures and heroism. As you embark on your adventures with your newly created Vault Hunter, remember to immerse yourself, to let go and stretch your imagination. Become Gearstaff the Necromancer, or Shirtless Clyde the Psycho, or whatever amazing and unique Vault Hunter you have created. Congratulations, Vault Hunter, you've done it. Your character is now ready to take into the harsh borderlands of Pandora. Don't die. Yeah, that basically covers it. As expected before, it was like 12 pages and got to page 19, so that's 7-ish. Not even 7, like 6-ish pages. So yeah, that basically covered it. 8-ish pages for all this. Yeah, that makes sense. Why not? But yeah, it's definitely simplistic, straight to the point. When it comes to going at it has a bit of customization, considering that you can mix and match archetypes, and those are the things that, you know, you play around with, and not necessarily. We'll have to look a bit of the archetypes, and I think there might be a potential to expand on multiple concepts and idea, because those are the things that you can mix and match. While the class, because the class represents, it's kind of the core foundational part of the Vault Hunter, that's something that's solely unique to you as a Vault Hunter, so it would be kind of weird to make it otherwise. So that does make sense. That's completely fine. But after that, yeah, when it comes to, like, you know, limit other forms of limitations, I think like that's up to you and your group. Like, for example, I don't know if you want take some thematics when it comes to like the general roster. I don't know, you want to have that weirdly, oddly named, you know, numbered based character, or somehow like lone or silent type here. Or at the very least, they did the whole number based character at you know, 0 and flak. Because after that, they kind of gave up. I'm not sure, like, with 4, but they kept the joke, or like kept that kind of like whole shtick. I know they kept the whole thing with like the high-tech dude that has always remained like an aspect. Well, I guess Borderlands 1 didn't really have that. I guess you could call Roland high-tech because he had the turret, but then, you know, we had Axton, we had like 0, which technically high-tech assassin, and you also had like and equally, I would say Gage, the Necromancer. While, you know, in the pre-sequel, I would say Doppelganger and Wilhelm, like both Timothy and Wilhelm, definitely I think were like the more into that kind of arena. Then in and in 3, I would say definitely Zane, and they didn't bring anyone else. Zane. I mean, yeah, you could put Mose because she just has a big ass fucking flat-off mech. Kind of cool. But yeah, I guess you can do that, or equally maybe even play a bit into the whole shtick with Borderlands where you only have a siren per team, or maybe, or if not a siren, limit them to having 1 of each type, which currently just is 2. Lock and got the name of the other one. The Light Walk. Because at the very least, if you care about some of the Borderlands lore, or per the lore, there cannot be more than 7 sirens at a time. Because technically 7, because there is like a forbidden 7th one that was mentioned in Borderlands 3. But yeah, there cannot be more than that many sirens at a time, and in some aspects, it kind of was implied that the powers, each of them has unique powers, but they are passed down, so there is basically a set of 7 total powers, and they can differ a bit. Like, you know, Lilith with her Light Walk is kind of like a phase walk ability, actually. Didn't necessarily, I think they called it phase walk, so it doesn't get weirdly word jumbled here, because you have phase lock and phase walk. It's almost this, you could easily just fumble around and say the other one. So they probably slightly renamed it so it doesn't confuse people. I forgot, because there was like the Lancer Siren that I forgot what her pick is. You have Angel, which is kind of like tech based, and her powers in some way to kind of manipulate tech to some extent. You have Amara, which is very, I'm not even sure how to call Amara, because to be fair, although that is part of the lore that as the first vault got opened, the siren powers got enhanced and more powerful, so they got a lot more varied. Also kind of in a way to justify why a siren, why Maya can do better, a lot more cooler things than what Lilith can do, although Lilith has also technically gotten a upgrade in Borderlands 2. It's her phase walk expanded to the point where she has like also mass teleport abilities. Not just an ability, not just a teleport for her. I guess you can probably round it out and simplify how Amara does her things, because Borderlands 3 also expanded in the whole shtick where you have a lot more you can customize with your action skills. It's not just, you know, you have the action skills, you might have a few extra abilities added on top of the action skill, but overall it's just the action skill. While in Borderlands 3 it's like, oh yeah, you have 3, choose which one you want and modify it however you want. Or if you are Zane and I don't know, just say fuck it, you can have 2 at the same time and add a bit of hurt, which could be neat. But yeah, overall pretty simple. I would personally probably change around some things. Definitely, it's more on the micro scale here than necessarily the general macro. It really depends on how it plays out. Like I said, like already looking at the gun charts and how exactly the spreads and some of the modifiers work around, I would probably change a bit of the baseline, because I don't know, I feel like some of them don't feel like as interesting as others, because you know you have the extra attack, which I think is like a big thing when it comes to especially early level. Stuff like the swap reload, that's really cool. The splash damage is a cool like bonus effect. I don't know like what did Torque do in. I have to look now for Torque as well, because I don't remember. Can you guess that I have not played as that much Borderlands 3 for me to be ingrained in my brain when it comes to what features their gun manufacturers have? Can I get a list of... Oh yeah, no. Explosive, like auto design. Okay, Torque guns have paint job. For more 2, okay. Oh right, Torque weapons can now have either impact or sticky grenades, which I don't know. It's kind of has various rockets. Applies dry rockets that touch the target, dealing 10% stated weapon damage and nation. Hit by reloading. Or counting as a separate hit, and will deal increased damage the more the rockets attack on the target. Fire after a shot. To make it more useful engagements. Okay, the second option is technically as an option for you to have more accurately fire the gun, so that kind of makes sense. Attacking bonus damage is determined by the weapon's magazine with more magazines, getting more attack. Some exceptions. Right, okay, fair enough. Maybe there's could be something there. You can add up and modify or change it up a bit. But who knows? But yeah, it's quite simplistic. I like the aspect that, you know, you have this kind of like visual element of how to view the card. I think it's a bit more complicated when it comes to like digital play to have this kind of as a big main part of your thing. So, but if I remember correctly, the PDF offers you like some templates, or at the very least, it definitely offers you the cards for all the weapons that you collect as loot, and I think it also offers you like templates to modify them. And also like the cool thing that, especially if you own Borderlands 2, because everything is styled based on Borderlands 2, there are like mods for you to create your own like prefix weapons and all that kind of thing, so you can craft around and take like a quick screenshot and just you know, just cut it out and paste it on a baseline card, and that's something that would be a neat thing for you to do. And it allows you a bit of customization if you want to put in that extra effort and, you know, also visualize the card aside from just adding the baseline. And of course, this is also a good opportunity for you to add maybe cool legendary weapons that might be out there in the game that are not here obtainable within this compendium, and put them as item cards if you want. One that I would definitely, oh my god, that would be the best troll weapon, the Bane. Fuck yeah, the Bane. I'm trying to figure out like what exactly, how annoying can you make the Bane? Definitely halving your speed modifier. You can only walk or however, you know, much you have. I would say half, so, you know, I'm not gonna be too punishing and still let the speed modifier scale based on your advancement, but it's gonna be halved. So that's gonna be fun. I'm not sure about the annoying shouting exactly I can do. Maybe definitely a modifier when it comes to like anything sneak related, to not be noticed because the gun is loud. But I would like their whole shtick with, you know, shooting it and it's really loud. I'm trying to like think what exactly would you add that it's horrendous about it. It is also wildly inaccurate if I remember correctly. Actually, no, I think it's decently accurate. Plus, it is a bandit. Was it a bandit? I think it's a bandit. But I have to look. Anyways, I'm taking a quick break, and then after that, I think we're gonna look really quick through the main archetypes and all the other listed things with Compendium, and that's probably how we're gonna conclude today. So yeah, I'm taking a break now, and I'll be right back in a few minutes. And there we go. So. Now that we are kind of done to generally covering the character creation aspect, which took us around like 2-ish hours, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That means that, hey, the game is easy to pick up, easy to understand, easy to grab all the main aspects of it. But I think we're gonna keep running for like a bit longer, and as something that we could do, and which I'm not gonna look like heavily into detail, but at the very least we can skim a bit through it, because why not, is take a look at the archetypes and classes to see kind of how they're structured, what exactly they kind of are able to offer. But I'm not going to look too in depth into it because, you know, I don't want to extend more than whatever is left of this hour, firstly, and, you know, still let a few things for you to discover, and it's just generally to kind of cover a bit more time to get into the general idea of what exactly I, you know, kind of want to get with. And first we're going to start with archetypes, which are the kind of the main aspect which you can determine how you advance when it comes to skill health, skill point, certain feats, and how exactly you obtain the other stat increases. So the first one we jump into is Deadeye. Deadeyes do not miss. They prioritize their accuracy above all else, and their skills are all about leveraging that accuracy to do, well, pretty much anything. So yeah, they have a starting accuracy of 4, damage of 1, speed of 0, and mastery 2. And when it comes to leveling, they get a feat at level, Deadeye feat at level 1, 6, 10, guessing 15 or 16. Okay, 16, 21. Issue was like once every 10 levels, but then it kind of like jumbled around here and there. And there's like another one at 30, and there's another one between. That's fair. Health gets increased at any level. 1 additional skill point at every level. We can also see like how the XP segment bar requires more and more XP as you level up. Starting from level 4, you're going to require level 150 total XP per segment. From level 6, you'll need 200. From level 9, you'll need 250. 11, 300. 14, 350. From 16, 400. From 19, 450. From 21, 500. 24, 5500. 26, 600. And 29, 6500. And it capstones at level 30. Aside from all of that, you get things like additional crit damage at certain points in level from the looks of it, sometimes lower, sometimes higher, and I think that this is more particular to the Deadeye than necessarily the character of themselves. Look, yeah, it's something specific to the Deadeye that they obtain. Favorite gun is you can get a total of 1, 2, 3 additional favorite guns from the archetype. Max grenade additions, you can get 1, 2, that's it, or 3. I think this one might be standardized. Yeah, I think the max grenades might be standardized, probably similarly with the favorite weapon. It'll also be something standardized when it comes to that. And also accuracy, which I'm pretty sure it's also, again, another thing, yeah, related to the archetype itself and not something standard. But yeah, the feats, I'm pretty sure they are at the same levels. I can now discuss each one. You get occasional +1 stats from what I see. At level 8, at level 14, at level 24, 27, that's it. I'm not sure. This might not be standard either. Oh no, I think it might be standard. Oh, at 27 I actually get 2 +1 stats. Yeah, that's definitely standard. Okay. And yeah, that's kind of all aspects of it. Then here you have the feats, which are pretty simplistic and not expensive. Finger guns, +2 on interact checks. Line of sight, +1 on search checks when it comes to when a sniper rifle is equipped. Social distancing, rough. Gain extra movement the first time an enemy enters an adjacent square. Okay. High noon, if there is only a single enemy within 3 squares, gain +3 crit damage. Damn. In the shadows, +2 sneak. Silent step, +3 on a sneak, but you also need in the shadows, so you can even get better. And cloaked in shadows, become cloaked for 2 seconds, for 2 turns, after successfully rolling a sneak check, which requires silent step. So basically, you become 0. Huh. This ability. Ready. Add +2 on initiative rolls if there are no adjacent enemies. Steady while remaining in place during a turn, you gain a +2 accuracy range attacks. But you require ready beforehand. And fire, you gain an extra attack if you act before the enemy steps in, which requires steady. Which I just got it, ready, steady, fire. Fair enough. 360 no scope, which is a level 10 requirement. Gain extra movement if you score a crit during a range attack. It's over. +3 accuracy modifier. You make an attack from high ground. It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. What do your Deadeye see? Add your accuracy modifier to all search checks. There's also then now at 15 level higher feats. Bullseye, you can add your accuracy modifier to the damage of the first range attack. Yikes! first range attack each encounter, so it's once per encounter. Fair enough. Personal space, gain extra attack the first time an enemy enters adjacent space during an encounter. So again, it's just per encounter or per enemy. I'm guessing it might be worded to sound kind of like per enemy. But yeah, curve the bullet. If you don't move during your turn, your gun deals damage to all enemies in 1 square of each other. Damn. So, oh, that's technically the ricochet. Okay, which is a 20 higher feat. And I never miss. Roll an extra d20 for accuracy rolls. Take the higher result. So you always roll with advantage. Damn, that's insane. I like that it's always the same Vault Hunter, to kind of go with the idea that it doesn't matter the archetype, you can still be the same person. The second archetype, you have Elementalist. They focus their use on action skills. Surprise, elemental damage. Also sufficiently as all sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. An action skill tends to involve advanced technology or literal magic, or in one case just holding 2 guns at the same time. Don't question it. The Elementalist is the archetype you'll want to pick if you tend to play mages in other fantasy tabletop games. So, you know, starting stats: 0 accuracy, 2 damage, 1 speed, 4 mastery. They get boosts in elemental damage and mastery because mastery is their highest stat, so they favor that. Everything else is exactly the same, so I'm not going to talk about it again. So, Elementalist feats. You have Aura Protection. Choose an element type. Gain 1d4 damage reduction on all damage of that type. Damn. You have damage resistance. Static Shock. When you're hit by a melee, roll a percentile. On a 30 higher, you deal 1d6 shock damage. Nice. Lightning Strikes twice. Anytime an elemental gun is bought or generated, you may have the Bunker Master re-roll the elemental type once. Ah. So you don't have to... So you can be like, nah, this is not for a fire elemental. I'm like, okay, weird, fine. Okay, it beckons. Add your damage modifier to all search checks. So hey, we look one situation where you can add damage mod for things that are more social, but I'm guessing this is more based. Over under, +1 on all sneak checks and all traverse. ¿Por qué no los dos? Which requires over under +2 all sneak and traverse checks. What is no loss of 2? No loss. ¿Por qué? I know por qué it's what is. No. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't know Spanish, unfortunately. Rolling Thunder, which requires por qué no los dos. 3 damage modifier on your next attack. When you make a successful sneak or traverse check. So you can already kind of see this one can synergize interestingly with Deadeye if you invest yourself into the Cloaked. So you have a bit of synergy because you can multiclass after level 5. The Quick +2 on initiative rolls if you have an elemental gun equipped. The Dead +1 damage roll die +1 damage die if you deal elemental damage, requires the Quick. And the Western Philosophy, which requires the Dead. When you swap guns to an elemental gun, adjacent enemies take 1d6 elemental damage of that type. So you do like an... Oh, so you do kind of like the Molly 1 AoE effect. Nice. Crazed. Crazed Alchemy, which is a level 10 feat. 1d6 to all elemental damage. Nice. Elementalist. Roll an elemental type. Add that elemental type to your favorite gun. So... is this just a one-time thing? You add to that elemental type to your favorite guns. Oh, so I'm guessing that all favorite guns are gonna do that elemental type. So does that mean that if your elemental gun already does that elemental type, will they do both? Or would they count as both? That's something in there too. Fast hand. Add spirit modifier to all interact checks. Fistful of Hate, which is the first 15 or higher feet. If your current gun has an elemental type, melee attacks deal that elemental type. And 1d6 damage. Nice. Wizard of Odds. When an elemental gun is bought or generated, increase the roll on the elemental table by 20%. So I'm guessing it's a higher chance of getting an elemental. Affecting the lower percentile chance is non-elemental. Super effective. Enemies takes 3 times the elemental effect from shock, incendiary, corrosive damage instead of 2. Interesting. Also, I just see shock, corrosive, and incendiary. I see no slag. Well, to be fair, slag is a debuff. That kind of makes sense. Cryo, of course, it's not existing because it's based on Borderlands 2. There is a base. I'm guessing explosive damage does not count as elemental, does it? Interesting. Interesting. I'm guessing it has the splash effect, which is something different. And first degree burn, gain an extra attack each time you deal elemental damage to an undamaged enemy. Nice. Then we got the Enforcers. Enforcers just hurt people. They punch them, they blow them up. They passive aggressive things on social media. They prioritize damage above always. Use Enforcer to prioritize. If you want to do that, they start with 1 accuracy, 4 damage, 2 speed, and no mastery. They focus on increasing their damage modifier and their melee damage. But yeah, I think they're about punching. They're about just doing damage in general. That's fair enough. It comes to feats. Bomb and Weave gain extra movement when you deal splash damage for the first time during an encounter. So if you like torque weapons, this is gonna be definitely your thing. Flex, the first time your shields are depleted in an encounter, you gain 1 badass token. So, you know, that's kind of more your thing. Smooth Talker, you get a +2 on all talk checks. So you kind of a himbo? Not himbo. I think it's... The brain is the biggest muscle. Not really, it's more fat. But anyways, add your damage modifier to all inside checks. Amazing. I just punched my problem away. Brutality, add a 1d6 to your melee damage. Totality of brutality, which requires brutality. You add a 1d8. You add it additionally? So you do d6, d8, and whatever. I'm guessing it's additional. It's not like upgrade. No, because I think it would have mentioned if it's an upgrade. But yeah, 1d8, 1d6, and depending on your class, something else. And finality of brutality, +2 to your melee attack rolls for adjacent enemy. Ooh, if you have some sort of class that is really focused on some sort of class that benefits being close to enemies, that's gonna be nice. No pain, while an enemy is adjacent, take 1 less damage from each attack. And that requires no gain. 1d4, a damage reduction whenever there is an adjacent enemy. So you're definitely the hurty type and the tanky type. And by requiring no gain, by needing gain, you also have 2 angry to die. The first time you drop to 0 health each day, you go instead to 1 health. So you have a moment where you don't have to fight for your life. Capitalist Might, which is starts at level 10. Choose a guild, add your damage modifier, all guns of that guild. Hey, so technically this is a way for you to gain the kind of what a lot of the community occasionally does, which is called the allegiance builds, where you choose a character and you just make a build based on 1 manufacturer type, and you just have your equipment based on that manufacturer. Then you have Catch. When you throw a grenade at a target, if your accuracy roll is 12 or higher, add melee damage. Ah, that's gonna hurt. especially if you have all the brutality stuff. At the very least, up to total brutality. Wounded Warrior. If you're under your max health, you gain +4 to initiative rolls. Nice. Another that starts from 15. Gain an extra attack when you kill an enemy. Nice. Fuck you and your friends. 2. You deal explosive damage. When you deal explosive damage, enemy hits by splash damage take full damage instead of half. Nice. And from level 20, Crater Phase. The melee attacks deal +2 explosive. So if you combo Brutality, Totality of Brutality, and Crater Phase, and also Catch, that's a lot of damage. That's 3d6, 1d8. Yeah, if you do like a Torque build, you could do a Torque build with this boy. And running circles, gain extra movement at the start of each of your turns. Nice. Yeah, there's some like really fun, weird ass fucking combos that you can do. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, Guardian. Guardians protect their friends. Not in a clearly never get to do anything cool kind of way, but in a if my friends are nearby, I get to shoot my gun again kind of way. Like, you know, the whole thing of you don't need healing if the enemy is already dead. Kind of support. Look, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life, but if your party is big enough, you might want a Guardian. Once they heal you from the brink of death, you'll be thankful you have them. And their starting stats is 2 accuracy, no damage, 4 speed, 1 mastery. And they focus on increasing their speed and their shield capacity. So yeah, they are a bit tanky in that regard. Interesting. Aww, I love his Salvador, and especially because it's kind of like a very Zero-looking type of guy, like having Salvador, Krieg, or technically this looks more close to the basics, Psycho and Gage. I love it. Okay, Guardian feats. Helping Hands, +4 on accuracy checks to throw potions. Nice. By your side, gain extra movement anytime an ally shield depletes. There, got your back. Gain shield recharge if you end your movement adjacent to at least 1 ally and 1 enemy. So the kind of type to be kind of in the midst of battle and helping out. Hyperlight rounds add mastery modifier to all traverse checks. Fair enough. Seeking Thoughts, +1 on all insight or search checks. Doctorate, you gain another +1 to insight and search checks. It requires Seeking Thoughts. And Cerebrium, which requires Doctorate, all allies within 3 squares gain your miscellaneous modifier for insights or search checks. Which I'm guessing the miscellaneous mod would be the modifier obtained from the feats and from wherever else. Okay, then you have Friendship. Adjacent allies take 1 less damage from attacks. Nice. Then you have True Friendship, which requires Friendship. Adjacent allies take 1 less damage from all attacks. And you also have Strike Force, which requires True Friendship. Gain an extra attack if there is an adjacent ally. Nice. Starting from level 10, keep shooting. Choose a guild. Once on each of your turns, gain an extra attack. Your equipped gun is from that guild. Again, something to do with like allegiance runs, if that's something of your thing. Which you could, I think, because this one was also like something with a good guild, like at level 10. So if you get like 10, the 2 of them, you can do like an allegiance combo thing. Talking Smack. When an enemy targets an adjacent ally, roll Talk 10 check. If successful, the enemy taunted. So, you could go Enforcer in this and be kind of like a high damage dealer and tank type of Enforcer Guardian. Nice. So yeah, then you have the Doctor is in. You don't take any damage during your turns. During a turn, all allies gain shield recharge. Nice. Back off. Your melee attacks knock back enemies by 2 square. Kind of combo it again with the Enforcer. That's... You really could make Salvador. Those 2 combos, don't you? Emergency. Refresh 1 use of your action skill whenever an ally shields needs. To be fair, this one starts from level 20, which I forgot to mention. And final, nah. Prevent the first 10 damage that would be dealt to you or adjacent allies during an encounter. And I'm like, nuh-uh. Like, the fuck you mean, nuh-uh? So yeah, those are the 4 Archetypes, Guardian, Enforcer, Elementalist, and Deadeye. Pretty good. Good way to add a bit of variety, add a bit of change. And now, the classes. Archetypes determine your Vault Hunter stats, but a class allows you to truly customize your flavor of badassitude. When choosing a class, I've asked it before, but I'll ask it again. What kind of badass do you want to be? Are you a Necromancer using a robotic body to tear your enemies apart? Are you a Siren who prefers to use her magic to scramble the brains and or internal organs of the bad guys? If you're a first-time player, you're gonna want to give the following class description a good read. But also don't be too worried if you end up not liking the class you pick. You can always change it later on. It doesn't make the narrative sense that a Gunzerger could suddenly become a siren, but who cares? I mean, if you really want to, you can say there was a malfunction in a Brew Cauldron that caused a particular Vault Hunter to respawn with an entirely different set of skills, or maybe the player character just up and decided they didn't like magic anymore and wanted to focus on their turret skills. Either way, don't feel like you shouldn't. Let your players switch up their classes just for the sake of the story. Fair enough, like if you don't like it and you're not having fun, probably accommodate. Now, when it comes to class information, from this point we are getting into the actual classes. Okay, so we have Assassin, a silent and mercenary. The assassin's goals are shrouded in mystery. Do they fight for the thrill of the kill, or do they care only about their payday? Enigmatic and deadly, but in a cool, sexy way, not a try-hard edgelord way. The assassin strikes swiftly and stealthily, whether by stabbing their enemies in the back or sniping them from afar. The assassin prefers a stealthy approach to combat, favoring their natural talent or lurkmanship. Appearance. To stay light and quick, assassins usually wear fitted clothing, armor. Assassins also prefer to wear masks, which typically hide their face, gender, and motives. All the better to brood mysteriously. When it comes to backgrounds, you have Challenger, a killer for hire, the greater challenge. The Blade, you inherit legendary blade, mentioned mysterious origins. Someday you will learn its secret, so it builds in a bit of story into the backgrounds for Bunker Master to do something with it. But yeah, it's a plus. First one is +1 damage and -2 on sneak checks if you are Challenger. The Blade is a Sword of Legends +3 melee damage but -2 on first checks. So you get a bonus and a negative, or maybe multiple bonuses and a big negative. Enigma +1 accuracy, -2 to interact. You have gaps in your memory of the past, making it not only a mystery to others, but also in some ways to yourself. Those external not being seen or heard, you are in and out before the enemy even knows. +1 speed and sneak checks, 3 on talk checks. And League of Assassins. Taken from your home as a child, you were trained as an assassin very young. The only life you know. Mastery +1, inside checks none. When it comes to features, their favorite gun is either a sniper or a combat rifle. Stat modifiers, they get a +2 to accuracy, no bonus to damage, 1 to speed, and 1 to mastery. Their melee die is 1/6. They get the mercenary skill tree, which is the next page, and they get the deception action skill, or Decep 0N. The assassin becomes close for 2 turns, sending out an illusory decoy that mimics their attacks and movements for the duration of deception. Mimic attacks do not deal damage or have any effect. Performing Any attack while deception is active will break the cloak and illusion, but will upgrade all hits to crits for that attack. Mastery modifier per day, +1 per counters. So yeah, you are really deadly. Yeah, tier 1 skill, max skill points. It even tells you like how many max skill points you can add for each of them. So you have headshot, which is more crit damage, fat's hand, which is speed, and SL helps. Skill points. No skill points per interact check. +1 per skill point. Sorry, 2 crit damage per skill. I get it now. +1 speed and +1 per skill point to interact checks. I get it now. First time damage is taken. Counter strike. The first time damage is taken during encounter. You deal 1 hit per skill point, and on your next 1 plus mastery modifier attacks. So depending on that, you get more. Iron Hand, +1 melee damage and +10 max health per skill point. Then Killer, gaining after killing an enemy. Kill an enemy, gain +1 modifier. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna look through these much. Def plus me deception. Yeah, most of them give you like additional like stat bonuses and things that affect. I'm not gonna look at because we don't have the time. But let's see the capstone, because that one definitely has something interesting. In deception, decoys throw a fistful of kunai. Hey, they deal 3d6 plus your mastery modifier of random elemental damage to all adjacent enemies. Nice. So that is the cool. Then we have Berserker. I love you, boo, which I'm pretty sure it's a reference because Berserker are akin to Brick. The Berserker wants to punch things. Over all else, being a Vault Hunter, there is no shortage of things to punch. They also enjoy shooting things, but just not as much as punching. Appearance, beef. Like, yeah, absolute units. Favorite weapons are rocket launchers or combat rifles. No additional modifier to accuracy, +2 to damage, +1 to speed and mastery. You deal 1d10 melee die, because obviously. They have the brute skill tree, and the actual skill Berserk puts away guns and breaks out fists for 2 turns. Each turn gains an extra movement speed and ability to melee attack twice, dealing +1 melee damage die with attack. 10 health for turn. Nice. When it comes to backgrounds, you have Brutality, Leader, Dynamite, Inner Rage, Demolitionist. I feel like personally, from the looks of it, most of them could to some extent. I feel like you could have a bit of that leeway of, with enough justification, I personally would allow. So far already looking, they're not too heavily, not that heavily ingrained into the class theme to not be able, because Dynamite, you were trained as an explosive expert. I don't know, maybe you could be a assassin that specializes on you're an assassin not in the sense that you're silent or deadly. You're an assassin in the sense that you kill somebody and you leave no trace of how the fuck he got dead, because he's just a splatter of blood and nothing else. Who knows? It's Borderlands, who cares? So, when Capstone, Unbreakable. The first time shields are depleted during encounter, plus gain 20 plus mastery modifier shields, and 10 shield recharge for 2 mastery modifier turns. Nice. Definitely tanky type. Commando is an ex-military who racked up a high body count during their days in the service. They need to deal with extra damage. They drop their saber turret into the fray to get things done. They are a one-person wrecking crew. But yeah, appearance, Commando is no longer in the military, but they never lost their style. They removed any official patches or insignia of their previous employers, except the ones genetically grafted onto their skin anyway. But they still look like they're able to drop into any hot zone in the 6th galaxy. They are very Archetype, and yeah, saber turret because Commando. Yeah, favorite gun, it's pistol or shotgun. Considering that he's commando, I would have expected maybe rocket launcher. It's fine. Modifiers +1 to accuracy, +1 to damage, no bonus to speed, and 2 to mastery. D8 melee die. Get the saber. Action skill, saber turret. Release the turret in an adjacent square that remains placed and fires at enemies for 2 turns. If it targets the closest enemy each turn and taunts it. Destroy it if armor depletes. And you get 40 armor for the saber turret. 1d8 per hit. It has an accuracy of +2, and you also get, it has 2 hits at first tier, to 3 hits at second, and 4 hits higher at 16+, which I'm guessing that depending on your modifiers, that could change. As backgrounds, you have Devor C, which I feel like it's very Axton flavored. Revengeance, damn it, of course. Veteran, Whistleblower, and Company Man. Again, a lot of some of these could definitely work for anyone else, in my opinion, so that's necessarily have to be there. And let's look at the capstone. Nuke. I can already guess. Deploying a saber turret sets off a radiation blast, dealing 5d6 damage to all enemies within 3 squares. That's gotta suck. Yeah. Then, Gunzerker. The Gunzerker motto is just keep firing. As long as bullets are flying, the Gunzerker is happy. Living their whole life around guns has made them experts at firearms, ammunition. This usually means you can give us give as good as they get and are tougher than most. You know, they can wield 2 big-ass fucking shotguns at once. Appearance. Most Gunzerkers are casually dressed. Jeans and t-shirts aren't out of the question, but with more ammo belts, holsters, and other accoutrements that say, I like guns, and not typically use words like accoutrements. They also tend to have beards. Gunzerker doesn't need beard, but if they don't have one, maybe consider giving them a +1 to all, a -1 to all intimidation related checks. Maybe. Again, don't necessarily be that, but if you want it for the funny, sure. Favorite gun, rocket launcher, or shotgun. In addition to their favorite gun, the Gunzerker starts with a crappy pistol to, you know, emphasize that, hey, they have the gunzerking skill tree, so they can do it from the very get-go. You get a +1 to accuracy, +2 to damage, no to speed, and 1 to mastery. 1d10 melee die. You get the Gunlust skill tree and have Gunzerking. Gains the ability to equip 2 guns at once per 2 turns. Each turn, the Gunzerker gets a ranged attack with both guns at a single target. While Gunzerking, the Gunzerker gains regen health. I'm guessing depends based on your modifiers. Gunzerking background, you have Roids, Curiosity Kills, Savior, gotta go fast, and Cowboy. And actually no, it doesn't mention. It says health regen, but doesn't say how much health regen. I don't know, maybe 1 per turn, something like that. I'm not sure. And the capstone is no kill like overkill. After killing an enemy on your next attack, gain X plus your mastery modifier. X is the where X is the damage dealt in excess of the enemy's health. Oh, so if you do any over health damage that you've done to the first enemy applies to the next one, so you never lose damage. You are gonna give a lot of hurt. And then you have Hunter. Hunters are skilled killers from afar. They prefer the high ground, partially as it gives them great advantage points for sniping, and partially because it more easily allows their feathered familiar friend to dive bomb into battle and annihilate enemies. Yeah, they have a birdo friend Their favorite guns are sniper rifle and pistols. +1 +2 accuracy, +1 damage, no to speed, and 1 to mastery. 1d4 melee. Begin the sharpshooter. Action skill Wings of Blood. The hunter familiar flies from their perch to dive attack and taunt a chosen enemy, dealing 2d8 damage and taunting all adjacent enemies. All taunted enemies will next attack the hunter. Okay, familiar has 16 health, 1 attack per turn. It has flight of 4 squares, damage 1d4 +1, and accuracy +1. It does at 2 or 7 it does -1 damage. Oh, it does -1 damage like here. 8 to 15 it's normal, and 16 higher it does an +1 damage and deal at most 6. When the hunter familiar dies, it will not take action or be involved in an encounter until the next time the hunter activates their Wings of Blood action skill. At the time the familiar is brought back into the action hunter square. Okay, and appearance, because it was thrown here and I didn't notice because zoom out. With a big old knife for skinning their prey and a cow mask to protect their eyes. The hunter is dressed to survive out in the wilds for long periods of time. Maybe sitting in one spot for hours, so they want to be comfortable. That means no bulky armor or unnecessary accessories. They are dressed to kill from afar. And their capstone is Trespass. Before any attack at the range of 4 squares or higher, roll a 1d20 plus your mastery modifier. At 10 or higher, the attack ignores shields and deals plus mastery modifier damage to the attack. Damn. Good. It's definitely good. Then we also have the Necromancer. Yeah, one of my favorites, including with the Assassin. A perfect melding of person and machine. The Necromancer is a technical genius whose robot body distracts and attracts while they blast away with reckless abandon. Necromancers tinker with everything, including their personal appearance. It's not uncommon to meet Necromancers who is a Necromancer who is more machine than flesh, with prosthetic limbs and trusty cybernetic enhancements everywhere, but they're still cute and they still got a fashion sense that leaves funky and rebellious, because Gage. So why not? When it comes to class features, they have a favorite gun, combat rifle or a shotgun. No accuracy, 1 damage and 1 speed, 2 mastery, 1d6 melee die. They have the Death Trap action skill. Summon a metal golem that moves and attacks enemies for 2 turns. Robot attacks twice each turn. They have 30 armor. They can move 5 squares twice per turn, and they deal claws 2d8. They also have a ranged shock pulse, which is 3 squares and does 2d6 shock damage. It doesn't give you like any sort of ranges, so I'm guessing like as long as it hits, it does damage. Yeah, Necromancer background, anti-bully. Yep, well read. Wealthy parents. Accidental murderer. It just happens. Sometimes you just make a high school project and it just goes awry. And clumsy. You're cute, you're independent, and you get a great job as the editor of a prestigious fashion magazines. But you got a fatal flaw, Butterfingers. I'm guessing it goes to play into... Is there like... Yes, there is anarchy. After killing an enemy or throwing an item, gain +1 damage modifier. Skill point for 1 turn. It's not the anarchy that I thought it would be. Although I think that would get a bit too crazy if it was the actual anarchy where you lose accuracy but do a fuck ton of damage. Though I do see some of the things that are kind of well known for Gage. And finally, make it sparkle. While Death Trap is active, shooting a robot with an elemental gun will charge the robot with that element type. Damage deals dealt adds 3d6 plus your mastery modifier elemental damage to the duration of Death Trap. So yeah, quite similar to our other friendos. Then you have Psycho. Class info. Enjoys meat bicycles and the overlap therein. The Psycho, which, yeah, it's kind of problematic. There is no getting around that. held onto their sanity for a while before deciding, you know what, I'd better be off without it. Dueling out incredible melee damage and willing to expose themselves in all sorts of pain in order to get the job done. The Psycho is not someone you'd like to make an enemy of. Appearance, usually shirtless, always wearing a cool mask, often clad in orange prison pants they were initially wearing when they first came to Pandora. The Psycho is dressed more for intimidation than practicality. But it is definitely a statement, and I'm suspecting already that that bomb is there for a reason, those dynamites. Favorite guns, shotguns, and submachine guns, very bandit-like. Modifiers 1 to accuracy, 2 to damage, 1 to speed, no mastery. 1d12 melee die. Actually, they hurt a lot more than the Berserker. To be fair, that's kind of the whole shtick. Skill tree, fire and blood. Oh, I can already imagine. You get the Box Axe Rampage. Psycho puts away their guns, gains extra movement, and takes out the Buzz Axe for 2 turns. Each turn the Psycho makes a melee attack against an distant target, and a ranged attack as they throw their axe up to 4 squares away. Each attack does 3d8 damage. If the Psycho kills an enemy, they gain 2 health. That's nice. Psycho backgrounds. You're dead. Aim for the face hole. No words, just blood and teeth. Blood. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Give it back. Grind, grind, kill. Run and slap around and choke. And run and stab. Blood. I can taste your memories. And stop talking to me. I am a social butterfly. I love it. The madness is a treat. Yeah, it definitely is a combo between burn baby burn and pull the pin and all. When shields of grades drops, dealing 1d6. The grenade kills an enemy. Oh. Alright, that's kind of cool that it's pull the pin, but without the fight for your life thing. Yeah, release the beast. If shields are depleted when activated, Box Axe Rampage. Gain 50 health plus 3 attacks per turn. And 5 plus mastery modifier damage for the duration of the Box Axe. So I think it's basically you become the badass Psycho. I think that's kind of the shtick for it. Some version that weirdly mutates. And finally, the Siren. I think the Siren is the last one. Oh, there's also the Soldier. Oh yeah, because I think they're alphabetically. Sirens can be found throughout the universe, although it is believed they can only exist 6 at once, and for some reason there's a 7th one. No one knows how a siren is created or chosen. They have immeasurable power. Sirens can be easily identified by their luminous tattoos that radiate within. That radiate when their powers are activated. And you see like a combo of both Lilith and Maya. 9. Favorite gun, just submachine gun, nothing else. That bonus, see skill trees. Melee dice, see the skill tree. Elemental type, choose one. Incendiary shock or corrosive. Optional rune when creating a siren. The bunker master may choose to allow the player choose one of the 3 elemental types listed here. This will replace the elemental type of their action skill type. Okay. When creating the bunker master may choose to allow the player one of the 3 elemental types listed in class features. Okay, and at skill trees, depending on which you choose, you have to choose one. So if you go light walk, you get 1 accuracy, 1 damage, 2 speed, no mastery, and melee die is a D8. With the action skill phase walk, become clothed, gain extra movement for 2 turns. When activated or deactivated, creates a phase blast that deals 3d6 incendiary damage to all adjacent enemies. Very into Lilith. And phase lock, you have 0 accuracy, 1 damage, 1 speed, 2 mastery, and you do 1d6 melee die. You gain phase lock. Siren locks an enemy in a sphere of energy, preventing the enemy from taking actions for 2 turns. When an enemy cannot be phase locked, they instead take 3d6 cryo damage per turn. That's the first met trio. I'm guessing to kind of like emphasize the idea that they are locked in place. And for us backgrounds, got living weapon, hidden past, public figure, fistful of hell, social anxiety, and gun witch. For light walk, the capstone is mind games. You gain a +2 to accuracy. At any time crit lands, roll a d20 with your mastery on a 12 or higher. Enemies and all adjacent targets are slowed for 1 turn. So, kind of akin to slag. Okay. And for the phase lock, at a capstone, you have thought lock. After phase locking an enemy, they attack adjacent enemies for the duration of the phase lock. So, kind of like a charm effect. The lock duration increases by 1 plus your mastery modifier per turns. Really good. And do you have anything like the healing effects? Health, the ability to target allies with range attacks. Yep, you do have the healing ability effects. Of course. Of course, the soldier is what exactly we should have expected. Soldier, class. You'll understand this with the DLC. He's handsome, he's real tall, he got a good voice, he's basically perfo, a bestie, your main man, best part, he can never die. Fantastic. Soldier, they dress like Roland. It's Roland. Soldiers fatigues vary depending on their job rank. Medics would have medpacks strapped to their bolts. Lighters, armors got around battlefield, lighter armor go around the battlefield. Whereas frontline soldiers would be armor, darker camo to blend in. And yeah, he's just been Roland-fied. You have a pistol or combat rifle as a favorite weapon. Accuracy it's 1, damage 0, speed 1, and mastery 2. 1d8 melee die. They have the Fortune. Oh, such a awful name. To put, they have the Scorpio turret. Which deploys a shielded turret with aura effect for 2 turns. That blocks damage from the front, targets the closest enemy, and fires each turn. Destroyed if armor depletes. 30 shield, 10 armor. Ooh, so it's a bit more. It's a bit more tanky. Does 2d4 per hit. No accuracy. And then it tells you how many hits it does. Attack. Then, soldier background, you have Crimson, which is Crimson Lance. You have Commander, Medic, Parkour Paladin, and Not a People Person, which is very Roland-like. And Capstone, Guided Missiles. Scorpio launches a guided missile that deals 2d10 plus mastery modifier splash damage in addition to its normal attack each turn. Which I'm guessing this probably has been taken from the saber turret and been added here, just, you know, so there is a bit of variety, and, you know, to also make the Scorpio turret feel nicer. Well, but yeah, that generally covers the classes. Again, I've not looked into every detail because it's gonna take us a long while. I just looked a bit more in depth at the first guy, and then we kind of like came through. But yeah, definitely a thing that I would say is that backgrounds, I feel like to some extent you can like swap around. Psycho one, I think you can flavor them in some interesting way, or, you know, maybe you can add this element where maybe your character has a bit of kind of like psychotic side of them if you want. So I feel like backgrounds should not necessarily be akin to like for the first attempt, for like a first try and kind of like a template Vault Hunter, yeah, sure, go ahead, use that restriction. But I feel like after that, feel free about it. Who cares? Just have fun with it. That's for sure. Skill trees are nice, are easy to understand. Quite obvious. I would have personally liked if they were kind of like structured in a way that you would probably see a skill tree, but it's fine the way they are. Definitely, as I said before, a lot of room for improvement. But the cool thing is that, as I said, being so quick to skim through, quick to read, is it's really approachable. It's easy to jump into it, learn about it, and do a lot of fun stuffs with it. But yeah, it definitely envisions the Vault Hunters as they were in game in a you know, tabletop paper paper and pen type format, which is really cool. And yeah, it kind of covers it. These are the Vault Hunters and how you make a Vault Hunter and how you can become a badass Vault Hunter. I really like the archetypes. It's kind of definitely adds a lot more variety. So you're not just a Vault Hunter, you have a bit more extra things with you, and the archetype being the part that you customize. It's definitely there that I think there is a potential for archetypes to be a bit expanded and add definitely a few more things here and there and for it. But I feel like overall they're cool. Why not? But yeah, that's I think that's gonna cover it for me for today. I'm gonna jump to anything else as we are running within the time, and I guess yeah, we did cover it within like 3-ish hours, and also looked a bit through all the class selections and archetype selection as well in a really quick format type of way. So that's nice. But that means that we still have one more stream for it to for us to cover it, which is gonna be next week. Then after that, I will have to look to see if I have anything more spooky related that we can do, like for the spook month when it comes to like ttrpgs to talk about. I don't think within my selection I have something, but I'll think about it. But yeah, that definitely is conclusion for today. Yeah, but before I go, as per usual, I'll do hi to other people and see what they are doing. Anybody doing? Other people are streaming, so good. Anybody doing something, I don't know, RPG adjacent? Or even Borderlands adjacent, that'd be like somebody. No, there isn't nobody that does like anything Borderlands-ish. Oh well, let's do something RPG related, why not? And I think I know who to come to. Make it easy. I think oh, it's just when the stream starts, so that's actually perfect. I just in. Okay, first I'm putting it on YouTube. There, I have to write it. Now here I can just copy, paste, and jump to the section. Yeah, and channel. Remember, yeah, we're jumping to Willow's place. She just started streaming. Apparently started late for her stream title. Something, I suppose. But yeah, for anybody new here, when it comes to rating, these are the two messages we send around. The first one is for those who do not have access to my sub emotes, and the second one is for those who have access to them, which I've also pasted because the bot does not have the sub, so that's fine. I forgot to snooze the ads. Fuck. Anyways, I guess I'm just gonna skim through it because I completely forgot about snoozing the ads, even though I was getting that notification because I was busy all the raid prep thing is. Yuck. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Tomorrow we are finishing up 9 souls. That is the plan, that is the goal. So then starting from next Saturday, we are jumping into the spook month with some spooky indies or like odd spooky games of some sort of another. So that is the idea, that is the plan. And once we are done also with Bunkers and Badasses next week, starting from the week after that, we're also going to be, I'm hoping I can find something spook related to TRPG wise. If not, maybe I'll do something special. I don't know what the fuck I'll do, something special to TRPG related, book month related, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Don't forget that. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.